All right, happy Monday, y'all. Welcome to the show. Hope everybody's having a great day. In just a second, we have an official World War III alert, y'all. We have a World War III alert. Ukraine is now bombing Iranian ships. Okay, so we'll get into that, why they're doing it, what this means in terms of the future. We have our generals now are begging Trump to stop. They're now going, hey, man, not sure we can win this like you think we can. So, buckle up, y'all. Buckle up. Saudi Aramco has been hit. That, of course, is a massive deal in terms of the oil markets and the global economy. We'll talk about that. And then later on, we have Trump's brain is now officially figgy pudding because he did that stand-up routine at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And oh, my days. Oh, no. He needs some work, man. Holy cow, that was rough. So I'll show you that. He also went on just an epic crash-out spree over on Lie Social where, I mean, he was posting AI slop image after AI slop image, completely unhinged, warmongering insanity. So I'll show you all of that stuff and more. And then also later on, Elon Musk has a trembling meltdown as a reporter grilled him to his face relentlessly. And needless to say, this was, I believe, a British reporter. And I'm sorry, man, they just do it different over there, dog. They just do it different. They don't do any of this access bullshit where you coddle the balls of the person you're interviewing because you want to talk to them again in the future, so you got to be extra nice. No, she went right for the jugular, and it was a glorious thing to see. So we'll talk about that as well. And then Hunter Biden slayed Nick Fuentes directly to his face when it came to his racism in a long interview on Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan. That is really interesting, so we'll talk about that as well. So you guys know the deal, man. Everybody do me a big favor. Please subscribe to the channel. That helps out big time and costs you absolutely nothing. You can also click that bell icon so you get a notification every single time a video drops. Sign up to support the show on Patreon, y'all. Remember, this is real independent media. I've never talked to an advertiser, never done an ad read, never will. And you guys have made that possible by giving $2 a month, $5 a month. That's how we fund the show, and we have the default ads on YouTube, and that's it. I've made it so I will never talk to an advertiser in any way, shape, or form. And then also, you can sign up for Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack and go sub to Corin's World. We should be live over there tonight, so come hang out with us tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right in ski. So let's start with this. This was massive news that broke over the weekend. Take a look at this. The two wars have officially merged. Iran says a Ukrainian drone attacked its own ship in the Caspian Sea and it killed a sailor. Ukraine earlier said it was targeting vessels ferrying arms between Russia and Iran on the Caspian Sea. So Ukraine is now attacking Iranian ships. That very clearly links the two wars together officially, okay? Midas Touch says, this reported Ukrainian strike on an Iranian vessel supplying Russia in the Caspian merges the two conflicts and expands the war as more nations gain direct stakes. So, you can already see the outline of World War III unfolding right in front of us. And you have the U.S. and Ukraine up against Russia and Iran. Throw China in the mix on the Iranian side, okay? And then on our side of the ledger, you could also potentially throw, Europe, Australia. It is getting dicey out here, y'all. It is getting dicey to say the absolute least. So this is the first time in a while that there has been a real fear of like, holy cow, this thing is going to expand, because the reason Ukraine would do something like this is effectively to say, hey, look, U.S., we're on your side against Iran. We just attacked an Iranian ship for you, right? We're doing your dirty work for you. Therefore, you got to do more of our dirty work for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to officially join against Russia, which would be two nuclear powers up against each other, which is like quite literally the nightmare scenario that everybody fears. So, and make no mistake about it, this was very purposeful on the part of Ukraine in an attempt to rope the U.S. into giving them more official backing and potentially open the door for direct conflict between U.S. troops and Russian troops. Okay, so that just really a huge deal. So, outline of World War III unfolding right in front of us. And let's remember, y'all, here's Donald Trump before he became president the second time. Listen to what he says here.
We have never been closer to World War III than we are today under Joe Biden.
Interesting. Now, how many times did he make this same fucking argument over and over? You're going to get World War III. You're going to get World War III with the Democrats and with Kamala Harris and with Joe Biden. The world is blowing up. The world is on fire. Now with me, I'd stop it all on day one. I'll stop the Russia-Ukraine war on day one. Oh, really? How'd that go? How'd that go? Oh, that's right. You're the one who's bringing us closer to World War III than we've ever been. Let me give you more here. Exclusive. Bahrain and Kuwait secretly sent jets to attack sites inside Iran, their first direct retaliation against Tehran. So yet again, the theme here is World War III. There's expansion going on. There's new people jumping in the conflict. Now, of course, to be fair, Bahrain and Kuwait have been targets of Iran going after U.S. assets and military bases in those countries. But now, for the first time officially, you have Bahrain and Kuwait also bombing Iran. Okay, making clear where their loyalty lies in this fight. More. Breaking. China directly rejects Trump's latest Truth Social claim that Xi told him China would not sell weapons to Iran under any circumstances, saying, quote, as a comprehensive strategic partner, China strongly supports Iran in safeguarding its sovereignty, security, and national dignity. So Trump was trying to save face in that Trump goes, China wouldn't do that. They wouldn't stab me in the back. They wouldn't help Iran. I know they're not helping Iran. They're not giving them weapons. They're not giving them money. They're not doing intelligence sharing. There's no way they do that because she told me that he wouldn't do that. Then she immediately comes out and goes, that's total horseshit. I never said that. I never said that. We're completely backing Iran and we'll continue to back Iran, which, by the way, shouldn't be surprised to anybody who's been paying attention because their intelligence has been phenomenal, okay? They've known so much about where our troops are at any given time. They've also increased their ability to do things on the battlefield that we never saw coming. Like, for example, they have these ballistic missiles that are like evading our interceptors in a way that we didn't think was possible. Why is that? Because it's not really from them. There's a lot of help happening from China here, and China is basically a superpower at this point. So, yeah, they've been helping them, and it's sort of been kind of open and clear, and it's not even like China is trying to hide it. And so Trump is desperately trying to save face, and he's like, they're not helping them, because I say they're not helping them. It is so embarrassing. Trump has gone so fully postmodernist that we are in hell in the sense that even if we have a new global Great Depression, there's no guarantee he will even acknowledge said Great Depression. He is likely to shove his head in the sand and pretend like actually the economy is doing great and actually we're not in a downturn, we're not in a depression. That's how far gone he is, that's how delusional he is, and that's how much of a liar he is at this point in time. It really is astounding to see. Okay, more from the Hormuz letter. Breaking, Trump has canceled plans to sharply escalate the war on Iran over concerns that Iranian attacks could dangerously drain the Pentagon's already diminished stockpile of Patriot anti-missile interceptors and other air defense munitions in the Middle East close to zero, according to the New York Times. The Pentagon has used more than 1,200 Patriot interceptors in the war at more than $4 million each, with cheap Iranian drones and ballistic missiles depleting the U.S. inventory. Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane privately cautioned that resuming major combat operations would fully deplete interceptors available to U.S. Central Command. A senior U.S. official adds that continued strikes have had, quote, the opposite effect of what was intended, keeping Iran cohesive and allowing Iranian leaders to focus attention on an external threat. Oh, so you mean the exact thing that every liberal and leftist in this country said would happen is exactly what happened? And every neocon warmonger right-wing hawk has been dead wrong about everything every step of the way? This is quite an admission. What do you mean if you attack them one more time and attack them bigger, it'll break their resolve and then, we'll end up winning? The opposite is happening. Now, also, note how much they've lied about all of this every step of the way. Pete Kegsbreath was out there saying, it's not true that we're running out of interceptors. It's not true that we're running out of missiles and weapons. I don't know what you're talking about. And how dare you say such a thing? And then here, a general behind the scenes is going, yeah, of course we're fucking running out of them. And do the math on it, $4 million per interceptor versus, $20,000 per Shahid drone. They have an endless supply of those Shahid drones, and we have a very limited supply of our $4 million interceptors. So what do you think is going to happen? I swear to God, they rope-a-doped us so easily, it's astonishing that we let it get to this point. This is what I mean when I say we're led by a baboon regime. Republicans are not only wrong about everything, they're also just incredibly incompetent. They can't do the most basic shit right. So they get rope-a-doped to the high heavens, and now at the last second, when we're already basically at zero, they, not sure we can continue going down this path. Yeah, you should have fucking considered that before you repeatedly violated the Memorandum of Understanding. What a sick joke, bro. By the way, more, look at this, from Axios. Top U.S. military commander in Middle East advised halting Hormuz bombing, and they basically go on to explain how General Kane was basically begging Trump, like, hey man, we can't afford to do this. Top U.S. military commander in the Middle East, Admiral Brad Cooper, recommended stopping the bombing campaign around the Strait of Hormuz because it has reached the limit of its effectiveness, according to two sources with knowledge of his position. The recommendation by Cooper, the commander of the U.S. Military Central Command, together with other advisors, impacted President Trump's decision on Friday to pause U.S. strikes against Iran, the sources said. It was an acknowledgement by both military and civilian advisors to the president that there are limits to what can be accomplished through military action, and specifically an air power campaign. Oh, well, that's nefarious. That's terrifying. That's creepy and eerie. There's limits to an air military campaign. Oh, does that mean we're now potentially open to a ground campaign? By the way, so it wasn't just General Kane. It was Admiral Brad Cooper as well saying the same thing, going, hey, dog, we're out of runway here. This shit is not working. We're just blowing through our interceptors. We're basically losing this fight. We're not getting any closer to where we want to be. And it's a fucking big wake-up call, dog. It's a big wake-up call. Now, as I told you, there was a tremendous amount of evidence that Trump was planning a much bigger attack, whether it be a ground invasion or taking Karg Island or an even bigger air raid. He was planning something devastating because we saw countless military planes and transporters being sent into the Middle East from Europe. And so what it looks like is going on here is either Trump is realizing, hey, we can't actually win this because he's being told it's impossible to win it this way, or like they acknowledged, oh, we can't win through the air, so a ground campaign is still potentially on the table. Now, what I worry about is we've already exhausted everything when it comes to diplomacy and negotiation, because there's been now, 3, 4, 5 different occasions where the U.S. and Israel agree to something, don't uphold our end of the bargain, break the deal, and then start attacking and murdering people again, which means at some point Iran was finally like, okay, this is stupid. We can't even make a deal with you because you're impossible to work with because you lie about everything and go back on your word. And so now they have no incentive to make a deal with us in any way, shape, or form. So in that scenario where they keep the Strait of Hormuz closed and the Bab el-Mandeb Strait closed and, we run out of gas here at a rapid pace, what is Trump liable to do in that instance? Well, he was just told now definitely can't do air raids because we're running out of interceptors. So the only option seemingly that would be left is a ground invasion. So outside of that, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen because Trump is still going out there. Oh, they want to talk to us. They're begging to make a deal. We know that's made up. We know that's not true. So what happens? There's only so long you could say that for, and there's only so much strategic oil reserves we have left, and every other option seems to be exhausted. All the logic points to probably some sort of a ground invasion. But if these advisors were being honest with Trump, they would also tell him, that has a fucking near 0% chance of success. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to invade this incredibly mountainous country with millions of people that's way bigger than the country of Iraq and seemingly take over the government and steal their oil? Like, get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You're going to take fucking Karg Island or Keshem Island and be sitting fucking ducks there waiting to get lit up to have thousands of U.S. troops die at once? Like, what are we even talking about here? Oh my God, they are so far in over their heads, y'all. They are so far in over their heads. All right, look at this. U.S. military commanders are deliberately letting some Iranian missiles and drones through their air defenses to conserve dwindling interceptor stocks. With Iran having fired nearly 9,000 projectiles since the war began, commanders now only engage threats headed for U.S. troops, accepting hits on runways, radars, and fuel depots to preserve Patriots, THAADs, and SM series interceptors that take years to replace. And that's an NBC News report. Oh my days. Oh my days. Let me simplify that. We are getting barbecued. That's what that means. We are getting lit the fuck up ski. That's what they're saying here. When you are letting missiles and drones get through, because that's a less important target, therefore let it rock. Oh my word. All right. Now, just how bad is it? Just how much are they kicking our ass? Ready? From Dropsite. Iran estimates U.S. military losses from Iranian strikes at 20.6 billion DZACs over the past 2 weeks alone. Oh no. Oh no. Come on, man. The estimate by Tasnim News, based on claims provided by an IRGC spokesperson and replacement and replacement costs drawn from the Pentagon budgets and U.S. defense contracts includes $7.5 billion in air defense and radar systems destroyed, $6.8 billion in logistics, warehouses, and infrastructure, $3.5 billion in aircraft, drones, and helicopters, $2.8 billion in command and communication centers. The IRGC claimed damage included also 4 Patriot systems, 6 Patriot radars, 2 F-15s, 1 P-8 aircraft, 1 C-17, 8 refueling aircraft, 17 drones, 17 armories, and 6 missile storage facilities. The figures have not been independently verified, but this is what they're saying in just the last 2 weeks. This is not even since the beginning of the illegal war of aggression. This is the past 2 weeks. People have no idea in this country just how cooked we are. We are the most paperist tiger of the paper tigers of all time. They should call us, we should change our name to the Paper Tiger States of America. That's what we are. Oh my word. Hormuz letter breaking. U.S. officials are now worried that Putin and Xi are factoring U.S. munition shortage from the Iran war into their calculations for next major moves in Ukraine and Europe for Russia and against Taiwan for China, per New York Times. The 13 consecutive nights of attacks and counterattacks have drawn down inventories that were already half used since April, with the Pentagon firing more than 1,200 Patriot interceptors at over $4 million each. Trump canceled his massive attack on Friday night over the same concern that Iranian attacks could drain Patriot stocks close to zero. U.S. officials also worried the 13-day bombing campaign had the opposite effect of what was intended, making the Iranians stronger and allowing Iranian leaders to focus attention on an external threat. Yes. So now Putin and Xi are going, oh, well, that opens the door a little bit for us now, doesn't it? Given that our main opponent is basically out of what they need. Now, just so you understand also, it is very quick and easy and simple to build more Shahid drones for Iran, for example, okay? It is not quick and easy and simple for us to build these missile interceptors and other types of weaponry that we're using. The military-industrial complex in this country is a massive slush fund for the Epstein class. That's what it is. So you have all these corporations getting no-bid contracts, getting a tremendous amount of money, building out these super expensive weapons, but you also have CEOs who are plundering and buying yachts that, you could put a yacht inside of your yacht, buying their 4th mansion, right? And basically, our welfare in this country is warfare. But the welfare only goes to specific people. It goes to corporations, it goes to billionaires, it goes to the Epstein class. And so what people are realizing now is we are prepared. The United States military is giant, but is prepared to fight war in 1985. It is not prepared for modern warfare. And so now, $20,000 drones versus $4 million interceptors, do the math on that, and it takes forever to fucking build the things. It's not like we could just keep up casually. This is bad. This is very, very bad. Doesn't help that we're being led by, a president that has the lowest IQ of all time in this country. All right, Dropside says, 3rd Saudi tanker was struck in the Red Sea as Trump threatens Iran. So there's the other thing. You also have Yemen's Houthis have now gotten involved. Bab el-Mandeb, that strait is being shut. So in other words, one of the bypass ways that they were able to get oil out of the Middle East is now being shut down. They're already backing that up. It's not just talk. They're already backing that up. And so now there's even less oil getting out of the Middle East. All right, breaking. Saudi airstrikes target the Yemeni capital of Sana'a. The equation set by Ansar Allah, that's the Houthis, was Sana'a for Riyadh. This means the Saudi capital will likely soon be targeted. And they also attacked the port of Hodeidah, which is the most important port, the main port in Yemen. That's what Saudi just hit. So they are now all in ski with this war. And then basically immediately after this, we learned Yemen hit Saudi Aramco. Saudi Aramco is the Saudi oil facility. Oh, wow, that escalated real quick. Yemen hit Aramco refinery in Jizan. Possible explosion reported in Yanbu, too. Okay, so here is a video from far away. You could see, though, in the distance, you got Saudi Aramco on fire. Now, Saudi Aramco is a massive, colossal facility. So it's not like the entire thing has been destroyed. Let me be clear about that. But there are parts of it that are now on fire, that are now destroyed, because Yemen decided we're not fucking around anymore. You come for us, we're going to come for you. Okay? Then you ask the American people, YouGov poll here, should America end the Iran war now? Yes, 67%. No, 33%. Gee, I think that's pretty clear what they're asking for. Hey, by the way, it is not a coincidence that Trump's approval rating is about 33%. That is not a coincidence. The same 33% that are warmongering psychopaths are the same 33% that still love our pedophile, rapist, conman, terrorist president. But 67% say end the war now. No conditions. No talking, no bullshit. Just end the war right now. All right. Should the United States authorities arrest Netanyahu if he enters the U.S.? Yes, 46%. No, just 28%. So the plurality of Americans say arrest this man. It's an overwhelming majority of Democrats, 63%, 46% of independents, 28% of GOP. But again, it's a plurality of Americans say arrest Netanyahu if he steps foot in this country. And then finally, I want to give you this. So here is Jesse Ventura, and he lays out here what should be the law. And if this were the case, this would absolutely positively prevent what we're looking at here, which is a stupid, illegal war of aggression, which has quickly become an endless war, a forever war, that we literally have already lost pretty much immediately, and now we're cooked, and we're just waiting for the worst consequences to smack us across the face. But here's Jesse Ventura's proposal. Listen to this.
You know what I've always said? You know how you got to vote to go to war, supposedly? I've always said we should pass a law that when Congress votes to go to war, someone in their immediate family has to begin immediate military service. If they vote yes to go to war, then someone in their family, because I'm sick and tired of the Vietnam stuff.
I completely agree with that. Because they don't care. They don't think about it. It doesn't touch them personally. And so like, yeah, fuck it. Go start blowing shit up. Who cares? Well, if it affected you personally, if you were sending your son or your daughter or somebody else who's in your family, I think you would care more, wouldn't you? You wouldn't send them to go die in a battle for some place they've never fucking heard of for some, stupid reason that Israel has been begging for. Fuck that. Fuck that. So 100% correct here, but there are your updates. Look, this is serious stuff, bro. It's a World War III alert. Ukraine bombing Iranian ships, trying to basically rope the U.S. into directly attacking Russia. You have generals begging Trump to stop bombing. We just bombed for 13 or 14 days straight. We're running out of interceptors. Saudi Aramco was now hit. You have, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait is also shut, along with the Strait of Hormuz. We're blowing through our strategic reserve faster and faster and faster. I genuinely have no idea what's going to happen when we hit basically zero with the strategic reserve, where we hit operational minimum or bottom, whatever they call it. I don't know, but there's no way this ends well, because Iran's fed up with us. They don't even want to talk to us. There's no fucking deal we can make that we would even fucking uphold. Now we can't, there's no hope of victory in any way, shape, or form. I'm telling you, he just needs to take this big, fat, juicy L, pull out, and motherfucking apologize, and then hope for the best that Iran only charges a 5% fucking fee on ships going through the Strait of Hormuz. I'm not kidding when I say the literal best case scenario is just holding the big, fat, juicy L and moving the fuck on. And there is about a 0% chance Trump will do that because he's incapable of doing that.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
All right, y'all. So it brings me no joy to tell you that our president's brain is straight figgy pudding now. He gave a speech the other night, or I guess you could call it a stand-up routine. I use those terms loosely. At the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And, whoo, buddy, it was a bomb fest. What's so funny is that, you have the Rogan Sphere type comedians. They've always said that he's, Trump's funny. They think he's funny. They think he's got a comedian's timing. Well, apparently, when he actually has to be funny, and that's the point, he's just incapable of being funny. I mean, this thing was the bomb of all bombs. This thing was a nuclear bomb that was dropped on that room. Let me tell you right now. So we're going to get to that in just a second. But look, he is cognitively a complete and utter mess, man. I mean, when I tell you he had a meltdown over on Lie Social last night, bro, he was tweeting for hours straight. He would not shut the fuck up. He would not stop posting AI slop. He would not stop starting fights with people like Caitlin Collins. I mean, this is who this guy is. He's got nothing to say about the, alleged 4 different people who tried to murder him, but he'll beef with fucking Bette Midler because of some shit she said in 1987, okay? He's not right in the head. So let's start with this one here. He was at some other event, and first of all, take note. You can see it in his face now that he's hanging on to life by a thread. Virtually everywhere he goes, his eyes are just 90% shut for no reason. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't know what's going on, but he looks bloated. He looks sickly. His eyes are 90% shut. And then now, listen to what he has the nerve to say here, and then I'll break it down for you. Here we go.
If you had somebody else sitting in the position that I am right now, and just like we did with the Green News scam, where we were scammed, the whole country was, I wasn't scammed. I got it right from the beginning. I got it from the first minute when I heard this crap, you know? They were saying wind was so wonderful, except you couldn't watch your television. They wanted to watch the debate. Donald Trump against Sleepy Joe Biden. Nobody could watch it because the wind wasn't blowing. Remember that? Darling would like to watch the debate tonight. I'm sorry, the wind isn't blowing. No, that's one of the great scams of all time, but, you know.
You can't even make this up at this point. First of all, he is like the world's most successful scam artist ranting against scams. That's rich in and of itself. That's point number one, okay? Point number two is, he's the Green News scam. It's a scam. Everybody fell for it except me. I didn't fall for it. The Green New Deal, which is, of course, what he's referring to, was never implemented. It never became law. It never passed. It was never signed by Joe Biden or any Democratic president. This is all total right-wing echo chamber horseshit. The most obvious, fraudulent nonsense I've ever heard. So the Green New Deal wasn't even passed. And then he goes on to tell a story about, remember when everybody wanted to watch me and Joe Biden, the debate, me against Sleepy Joe Biden, and they couldn't watch it because the wind wasn't blowing? Nah, bro, we need to come up with a new term for the degree of lying that this man is engaging in right here. Every element of what he just broke down here in this 37-second clip is made up. But it's like fake shit on top of fake shit within other fake shit. Green New Deal isn't law, never was law. You didn't need the fucking wind to blow or wind power being used for people to watch the debate versus Trump and Joe Biden. But notice how he says it so confidently. I mean, this is truly fucking pathological. It's like a malignant narcissist in narcissistic collapse right in front of our eyes. And just pathologically, every word out of his mouth is less true than the one before. Okay, but we're just getting started. Because here he is at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And as you can see here, this isn't his eyes being 90% shut. This is, bro, straight up in REM sleep, y'all. Look at this. Oh, my days. I like how he thinks, oh, if I put my head up in the air, that somehow, like, nullifies that my eyes are closed. Making, like, oh, if I just move my chin up, people will think I'm awake. Even if my eyes are shut, if my chin is up, that makes people think I'm awake. Look at this.
Post reporters in supposedly searching her office or computer.
Bro, he's fighting for his life right now.
Then the New York Times subpoena Scott. That moment yesterday, that federal judge,
Oh.
was such an important one, particularly.
Okay, I said this the other day, but his face looks like a 7-Eleven hot dog that's been out too long, doesn't it? I mean, that is rough, bro. That I don't even know what's happening here. Look at this.
This dinner is happening. How consequential do you think
Oh.
what happened with the Times was?
I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. Okay, but here we go. So he goes, gives his speech. This was indicative of what the whole thing was like. I got a bunch of clips here for you. But like, just, in order for something to be funny, it has to like ring true, but there's also got to be like, a comedic twist in there. It's just like mean-spirited, angry old man stuff. Like, that's all this is. Here we go. Listen.
Sir, in the back, don't call him a fat pig, okay? I'm sticking up for him. Don't call him you. You can't do that, sir. You can't call J.B. Pritzker a fat pig. Please. All right? Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Fucking dead silence in the room. You could hear a pin drop in that bitch.
Everyone's trying to figure out, who is that guy? Does he exist? But the nice part is when you do that, the press can't get you. Because I'm defending a man who obviously has a problem. Actually, he's lost a lot of weight.
Oh, okay. Okay. Asen says, oof, not going great. Let's see what this one is here.
Because I see what's happening. I see what's happening. The other day, a senator I knew got a text, a great guy, from his wife. And she said, when you get home, I want to have you immediately come up the stairs and make love to me. And he said, I can't do both. You know what? In other words, can't go up the stairs and make love. Does anybody get that? Well, I thought that was actually pretty good. That was actually the only thing I thought was good in this whole frickin' stupid speech that they wrote. That was the only good one, and that went down with not exactly great laughter. I think, in other words, you can't go up the stairs and make love, too,
It's never good when you have to explain the joke. It's never good to, hey, here's why this should make you laugh. Of course, he would think the worst fucking line is like the best line. All right. This speech is horrific. The audience is stunned. They're in stunned silence. Trump attacks Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, and Colbert as talentless, and then goes on to go after Adam Schiff. All right, I mean, this is classic Trump. What the fuck did you expect? Here we go.
But this year, the association decided not to have a comedian, so they considered using Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon. These guys, they're terrible. They're terrible. Stephen Colbert, these are people without talent.
By the way, there is like no doubt that the reason there wasn't a comedian here is because Trump demanded that there be no comedian. Like, you think they willingly, of their own volition, made the choice, let's not have a comedian at the dinner where the whole purpose is the comedy and the jokes? No, Trump was like, I'm not doing it unless there's no comedian. I don't want to be made fun of. I mean, that's without a doubt, that's what happened.
They're terrible. Stephen Colbert, these are people without talent. They get a lot. They have talent. You know who has talent? Their agent, getting them the money they get. They have no talent. But they are not comedians. They're not funny people. They're angry people. They're sick people. But the association really put on a big show, and they have somebody very special. I look forward to seeing him. And so they thought about going with a professional clown for entertainment, but Adam Shifty Schiff was not available. He's known, I called him, I hate some people, I shouldn't say this, I'm not supposed to hate, I'm supposed to love everybody, but he's a terrible person, he's a liar.
What are we doing, bro? He's supposed to be making people laugh, and he's just going through, I don't like this person, I don't like this other person, they're shifty, he's a liar, he's this, I hate him. Everybody's sitting there going, why are we here?
Called him watermelon head because he has the largest head I've ever seen with the smallest neck, pencil neck. How does that big?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, my word. Look at the fake laughter from the women. Look at this guy sitting here like, what did I fucking get myself into? What's happening here? By the way, Kristen Welker was, fucking giggling and chuckling and talking to Stephen Miller, the chief fucking Nazi who's shoving immigrants into concentration camps. I mean, this whole thing, what are we even doing? This dinner shouldn't exist anymore. We can't live in this fascist, oligarchic, kleptocratic kakistocracy and say, like, oh, everything's fine. Let's just act like it's still fucking 2013. Like, what are we doing?
Fat, ugly head stand on a little pencil neck. And then I'm told that even Rosie O'Donnell reached out from Ireland. She really wanted to be here in order to honor me. She loves me very much, and she was desperate to come back to the United States and pay her respect to Donald J. Trump. But that didn't work out, unfortunately, because nobody wanted her to come back.
If you're just mean-spirited and you actually hate people, that's not actually funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got to be in good faith. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can make fun of people, but if at the core of it is, like, some sort of love, then that's one thing. But if you're just saying shit like this, everybody knows he means the shit. Everybody knows he actually hates these people. Man, what a fucking failure. I wonder who wrote these jokes for him. Jesus Christ. All right, now, you got the line about Nicki Minaj. Let's see how this one goes over.
They were smart if they were stupid as hell, but they were on those tables in some cases, and there were a lot of different feelings going on in the room at that moment. But after hearing the gunshots, many people yelled, get down, which caused Nicki Minaj to start twerking. Do you believe it?
Now, that was actually one of the better lines. There was at least a little bit of laughter.
She's the only one that really understood what that meant.
I didn't like it because she's not 13. If she was 13, I'd love it if she's twerking. All right, more. Now he goes off on Bruce Springsteen because he also hates Bruce Springsteen because he's on the left.
He held an event, like 3 people showed up, and given the choice between seeing some of the really beat-up faces of the UFC, almost everyone chose the people in the UFC. It was between the 2 of them of the UFC. And what about Bruce Springsteen? What the hell happened to that guy? He looks like hell. I don't care what anyone says. I'm not supposed to say. I'm sure he doesn't like the way I look, but I don't look so bad.
He actually may think he's better looking than Bruce Springsteen. That's astonishing.
Bruce, all he did was talk politics. He ought to run for office. That'd be interesting. But all he talked about, he made 4 political speeches in his 3-hour show. The tour has been renamed Bored in the USA. And his new song was so bad that Chris Christie, who's like a fan, you know, he goes out and tells everybody how he hates Chris Christie. Keep that guy out of my... And I see Chris Christie there again, high-fiving Bruce Springsteen in the aisle. And Bruce Springsteen saw him and didn't even lift his hand up. And I just wanted, because I used to be friendly with Chris. Chris, when somebody doesn't like you, write them off. Forget it. You got billions of people in the world. You don't have to make a jerk out of yourself.
All right, more. Jim Stewartson said he's insane, and he's quoting, I guess he talks about Larry Ellison and CBS here, which is basically like rubbing salt in the wound, because he's personally having MAGA take over the entire media infrastructure. He's having people who are pro-billionaire, pro-Israel, and pro-MAGA bias our media and absolutely destroy it.
Tonight's event is even crazier than the last time. In fact, it's so successful that I've been informed by CBS News' David Ellison, who's going to do a fan job. He's the owner. He's the owner. He bought it, spent a lot of money, and he's going to make, I think, fantastic changes and keep some of the great stuff going.
In other words, they're not going to be allowed to criticize me anymore. That's why I let him buy it.
But the next year, they're going to call it the Trump White House Correspondents Center. He told me that, and I like that very much.
Yeah, it's not funny, especially if you actually want that to be the case. Nobody would deny you actually want to do that. You slap your fucking disgusting name on everything. You want to do that. Why are we pretending like that's not the case? Of course that's the case. Everybody in the room knows that's the case.
Change the name of it, okay? Oh, it's going to be so hot, just like our country is hot. We are hot, by the way. But to be honest, it's just about the only way that they're going to ever get me back here. You're going to have to change the name of the dinner.
Here he goes after James Tallarico, because of course he does. These people can't help themselves.
Very well, in Texas, the Democrats are running a candidate named James Tallarico, who hates guns, hates oil, hates sex, hates women, and who said he is, quote, a Christian who hates Christianity. Other than that, I think his platform is quite good. And that means that he's not going to do very well against Ken Paxton, who hopefully in Texas is going to win. But Tallarico, he's Alfred. You know what he looks like to me? Alfred E. Newman. You remember Alfred E. Newman, Mad Magazine? I said, that guy is Alfred E. Newman.
Trump uses that for like every fucking white Democrat. Didn't he use it for like Beto O'Rourke and Pete Buttigieg and now fucking James Tallarico?
Can't imagine he'd win. Well, I have all of the press here in one place.
Oh God. See, none of it's fucking funny. All right, then he does a vile attack on Ilhan Omar. Here we go.
His policies of enabling wildfires, paying drug addicts to be homeless, giving free sex changes to illegals, and telling rich people they're going to take away, all of your money is going to be taken away. People are fleeing, and they're fleeing in droves. We can't have that in this country. It's becoming such a horrible and dangerous location that Ilhan Omar, one of my favorites, and her brother are thinking about moving together, very much in love.
The joke is just like rampant Islamophobia, right? It's just like bigotry, xenophobia, racism, Islamophobia. Like, that's the joke we're talking about here.
Surfaced recently of Elon giving a speech referring to World War II as World War XI. And they asked her about that. She thought she got it right. But I'm not surprised, because she's a low IQ person.
Oh my God, the world's dumbest man. This is a guy who brags about taking a dementia test and passing it and acing it like every other week. Like, hey, idiot, that's not something to be proud of. That's just like, hey, I'm not completely and utterly divorced from reality now in my waning years, but that's what he does.
She's also a very dishonest person, and she ought to get the help.
Trump told like over 30,000 lies in his first term alone, and he's saying this about Ilhan.
Out of our country. She shouldn't be here. She shouldn't be in our country.
Nice stand-up, bro. Very good jokes you're telling you. She shouldn't be here. I hate her. Kick her out, deport her.
Country. She also calls her brother husband number one. Omar is...
You could literally hear a pin drop in that room.
reportedly being investigated for fraud. She
In other words, I'm sending my fucking paid hack thugs to go after her.
revised her net worth. I was shocked to see that she was worth much more than $30 million.
Donald J. Trump has allegedly made $9 billion. Him and his cronies have made $9 billion off of the insider trading around the Iran war alone. That's to say nothing of the insider trading with the tariffs and the trade war. That's to say nothing of the money he's directly taken from Saudi Arabia or the crypto scams he's run. He has some fucking nerve. You're going to attack Ilhan Omar and pretend she's corrupt, whereas your family is quite literally the most corrupt in U.S. history, and everybody knows it, including MAGA.
And then when the press got on her, she revised it slightly downward to less than 18,000. So she went from much more than 30 million to 18,000.
All this is made up by, I mean, I don't even need to, fakest shit ever.
I know Democrats, and the word Democrat is something that's come into fashion.
So Ilhan goes at him and says, the idiot who runs our country says this, but doesn't have the courage or evidence to come after me. This should tell you how low IQ he is. Trump is who needs to get the hell out of our country because he is destroying it and making us the laughing stock of the world. 100% correct. And what the other thing Ilhan did, which I fucking love this, there's a moment in the White House Correspondents' Dinner where I believe it's the Wall Street Journal gets an award for their reporting on Trump's connections to Jeffrey Epstein, where they exposed the love letter that Trump wrote Epstein with the drawing of a prepubescent fucking girl, where he said, happy birthday, and you know, our life will be our wonderful little secret. You and I share something in common, Jeffrey. We like to fuck little girls. We share something in common, Jeffrey. So the Wall Street Journal gets an award for exposing that connection with Trump and Epstein. Trump is forced to sit there and listen to the Wall Street Journal get an award, exposing how he's a fucking pedophile, and look at how uncomfortable he is, squirming in his seat, and then basically giving up and like clapping to like, you know, give them their props. Look at this. Ilhan posts when the award is announced, but with the camera just focused on Trump. It's going to be Wolf Blitzer giving the award, but all you're going to see is Trump. Look at this.
The Journal's courageous reporting on President Trump's past relationship with financier Jeffrey Epstein triggered the release of the so-called Epstein files.
Look at his face. Look at his face.
Thousands of documents that might otherwise have remained hidden from the public. And despite the president's threat of a lawsuit, the Journal published a story about a provocative letter to Epstein bearing President Trump's signature.
Look at his face, bro. Look at his face.
Trump quickly filed a $20 billion lawsuit against the Journal, revealing reporter Khadija Safdar's home.
See, he's laughing. Why is he laughing? He's laughing because he knows he's a scumbag. He knows he's a piece of shit. He knows it's an intimidation tactic. He's caught. This is like when you catch the kid. I didn't eat the cookie, mama. Got fucking, chocolate chips all over his face. Got the cookie jars open. His hands got crumbs on it. I didn't eat the cookie, mama. You were caught. You were fucking caught. That's why he's smiling.
Home address. Her family had to
shrug. Well, I guess you got me.
be relocated. The Journal was kicked off of Air Force One.
Yeah, Caroline Levitt trying to console him.
But the reporters continue to file revelatory stories. Please welcome the winners of the Katharine Graham Award from the Wall Street Journal. Khadija Safdar.
Look at his face.
Sadie Gurman, Annie Linsky, Josh Dawsey again, Alex Leary, Rebecca Ballhaus, and Ryan Barber. Their colleague, Joe Palazzolo, could not attend tonight.
See? Clapping. They got you. They fucking got you. You disgusting pedophile. What a sick joke, bro. By the way, keep this moment in mind, because I'm not kidding when I say this led to narcissistic collapse. As soon as this happened and he left there, couldn't sleep, posting like a psycho and a madman over on Lie Social. Keep this in mind because this made him snap, okay? Here's Aaron Rupar. He says, whatever magic Trump once had as a public speaker to non-cult audiences is long gone.
But this place is really the largest group of Trump derangement syndrome people ever put together at one time, I suspect. Some of you are lucky that our last dinner was cut short because I had brought with me what would possibly have been, I'm telling you, I had something. I was going to go after you. I feel so badly doing this. It's got to be such a letdown. Oh, yay.
What is he saying? You're lucky that the last dinner was cut off because of the alleged attempted assassination. Because, boy, I was going to go after you. I had something for you. What did you have for them? What does that mean?
But your lives were really in danger the last time for an opposite reason. But on the plus side,
For an opposite reason?
your careers were saved, and we have we really do. We have a complete and total. You know, I love the words complete and total. They say, but it means almost the same thing. I said, it doesn't matter when you say it. It's called emphasis. It's called emphasis. But everyone is now really warming up. The new White House military center, drone port, highly protected ballroom.
What the fuck? He is gone, dog. He's gone.
We have our ballroom. The windows are this thick.
What the fuck does that have to do with what you were just saying? You have a complete and total what? He cut that line of thought off, explained what complete and total means, and then pivoted to the fucking ballroom, the Epstein Memorial Ballroom?
I said to the people, well, if a bullet hits, what happens? Nothing. Nothing. It bounces.
Oh, my days. Oh, no. Trump, quote, I am pleased to announce my intention to run for a fourth term. Here's his joke that he wanted to share with everybody.
Okay, but we are all doing good together. That's why tonight, to show just how much I care about the press, and I want to save your ratings, I'm pleased to announce my intention to, and this is somewhat of a scoop, my intention to run for a fourth term as President of the United States. I will be doing that.
No, nobody fucking laughed. Nobody laughed. Why? Because we know he actually wants to do that.
I will be having an official, in fact, I think I have, I won 3 times. Now I'm going to do it again.
Oh, my God, bro.
Thank you.
Oh,
I'm
no.
going to do it. Should be.
Literally, everybody in that room who's clapping at that should be insta-fired. Every single one of them should be insta-fired. They have no business being in media. None. Zero. He's not kidding. By the way, you know where all he had to do was go to his merch store to grab one of those hats. He was already selling these hats. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? You think, oh, he's building the Epstein Memorial Ballroom, which is going to take fucking 4 years anyway. You think he's building it so that somebody else could use it? He wants to... It's not a joke. It's not a fucking joke.
I'm getting very good at running for president. No, I won 3 times, did very well the second time, by the way. It's a rigged election, but we don't have to talk about it. You know, it's interesting when you come
Yeah, nice jokes, bro.
back and you do a good job like we did, and you don't care about it so much, but we do have to tighten up these elections because they really are in seriously bad shape.
Oh, my word. Everybody who's there should be fucking launched into the sun. All right. He's not. So when he leaves this event, he goes into narcissistic collapse because he was humiliated with the Epstein, report and getting the award right in front of him. Okay. He starts posting. Donald Trump says Morocco will name the 655-mile Tiznit-Dakhla Expressway after him. Trump thanked King Mohammed and called it such an honor. Morocco has not publicly confirmed the announcement. So this is made up. Completely and utterly made up. All right. More. Another one. He posted Trump 2028, make America great again. Posted that on Lie Social. How about this one? The man who saved America. Here's Trump as a kid, as a young adult, an older adult, and now as a senior citizen. The man who saved America, sucking himself off massively. Then he goes on an unhinged spree. Guardian of the world. It's Trump. It says USA. You have a stealth bomber. We're bombing Iran in this AI slop image. We have guardian angels of the world. It's U.S. fighter jets bombing Iran relentlessly. Another one, Guardians of the World. He's just posting different iterations of the same AI slop image. Goodbye, engine room, bombing Iranian ships. This is what he's posting. Trump says, it's our oil tanker now. And he's lifting the American flag, stealing an Iranian oil tanker, committing piracy, thinking that makes him look badass. Here's another version of the same one with troops that he posted. Here's another one with a racist caricature of Iranians here. This, completely and utterly out of control this man is. AI Trump travels back in time to save George Washington. Here's Trump saving George Washington and posting that. This man, by the way, did not sleep the other night. He did not sleep at all, even though he's 80 years old. He's obese. He's in extreme cognitive decline. He probably has Alzheimer's on top of dealing with other health problems like potentially congestive heart failure or mini strokes, things of that nature. Take a look at this. So here is somebody on TikTok, this guy always does these videos about the state of Trump's health, and he explains the narcissistic collapse that Trump's in the middle of. Listen.
The president is displaying a clinical behavior known as narcissistic collapse because he has malignant narcissistic personality disorder, just like the mustache man from Germany in the 40s. I'm a physical therapist with a doctorate in my field and 15 years experience working in home health care, treating geriatric patients with dementia, heart failure, kidney disease, and some narcissism on top of that. So Harry Sisson back again with a banger of a tweet, just cataloging with timestamps what the president is doing on social media. This tirade begins at 11:16 in the morning and continues to basically 6 p.m. This is counterintuitive for a dementia patient with sundowning, but this is what happens when a malignant narcissist is experiencing collapse. Their rage is so strong that it will push them through sundowning time where he would normally be fucking asleep. Narcissistic collapse can be triggered by a severe blow dealt to the ego of the narcissist. That's what happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. He was forced to sit at that table and listen to the reporters give speeches who had won awards for their reporting on his connection to Jeffrey Epstein. This is his psychiatric response to losing a source of public validation. Or, in this case with Caitlin Collins, encountering someone who refuses to submit to the narcissist's public attempts at manipulation. That's why the AI photo of her as Dillon Mulvaney was posted first. She is the person he's most pissed off at. Well done, Caitlin. Typical outward signs of narcissistic collapse, aggression and rage, impulsive behavior. He's doing all that. Because he's also a dementia patient, he can't actually achieve anything in the middle of his collapse. All he can do is bitch about stuff that pisses him off on social media. And narcissistic collapse creates a great environment to suffer a stroke or a heart attack or fall and suffer a catastrophic injury, which once again is why I tell you guys, it could happen any day now. Happy Monday.
Jeez, that's right. I forgot. He did go after Caitlin Collins in the speech. He hit her with the classic, like, Caitlin never smiles. She should smile some more. How dare she not smile? And then he started attacking her on live social after. That's not all, though. I got one more for you. So there was this weird clip that blew up. People saw Trump. He was doing this weird thing with his tongue when he was sitting there and during the, I guess, award show or White House Correspondents' Dinner, whatever you want to call it. And he's going like this. You saw him doing that, but like the tongue was inside of his mouth, but you could see it. He was moving it back and forth. Very bizarre. And, well, there's a little theory as to what exactly is going on with that, too. Listen, here we go.
He was not about to vomit right here. He was trying to dislodge food that had gotten stuck under his cocaine retainer because he's been addicted to stimulants for decades and it has formed a hole in the roof of his mouth. Let me explain. I'm a physical therapist with a doctorate in my field and 15 years experience working in home health care, treating geriatric patients with dementia, heart failure, kidney disease, history of stroke, heart attack, all the shit that he has, on top of being a stimulant addict for decades.
But there does seem like things are kind of coming apart more than usual in the past few weeks. Is that a fair characterization? I think that is an eminently fair characterization. First of all, it's good to be with you, Chris. Look,
Here's some more footage of him playing with that retainer.
Look at his tongue. Watch his tongue. Look at that. That's weird, right? Isn't
I need to give
weird?
credit to Jackie_RN on Twitter because she has mentioned this multiple times as he's been doing this in public. First off, you need to know that Donald Trump has had a full mouth reconstruction. He does not wear dentures. So he's not playing around with dentures that aren't fitting quite right. How does snorting cocaine constantly cause a hole in the roof of the mouth? Well, this drug causes a lack of blood flow to the nasal and oral tissues. This causes the nasal septum to decay and die. In severe cases, the roof of the mouth will develop a hole in it. Trying to surgically fix that part inside the mouth is very risky and there's a low chance of success with that surgery. So they create a custom-fitted retainer to close that hole and restore that division between the mouth and the nasal passage. This is clinically known as a cocaine-induced midline destructive lesion, or a CIMDL, CINGO. A retainer like this snaps into place and it keeps food or fluids from going into the nasal cavity, allowing a patient to eat and drink and speak normally, assuming that they stop snorting cocaine or other stimulants, which we know he still fucking does. This happens because when cocaine is mixed with saliva, it creates an extremely acidic environment in the mouth and nose, causing damage to tooth enamel and even the necrosis of the gums. This is the reason he needed a full mouth reconstruction, because he's a fucking drug addict. So this is why I keep telling you guys, it could happen any day now.
Now, I knew about the alleged stimulant abuse from Trump. We've talked about that. There's evidence. Remember the debate with Hillary where he kept sniffing the entire debate. It was like endless. Well, that's what happens when you have the drip after you snort. Not just cocaine, but any stimulant really can do that. But now, if he's right, that would make sense. Remember that famous clip where he says, "God bless the United States of America. Thank you." I thought that was like his dentures falling out of place. But if this guy's correct, it could have been this roof thing falling out of place. I don't know if what he's saying is correct. I know about the allegations of the stimulant abuse. We've talked about that in the past. But, I mean, I don't know, bro. I'm just giving you I'm the humble middleman giving you all the different theories. Y'all can make your own mind up. But what I will tell you is this. This guy's motherfucking struggling. He's struggling on a disastrous level right in front of our eyes. And we know that he never sleeps. We know that there's evidence that he has diabetes. Remember the pinprick that we showed you the other day? It was on his finger. It was very clear. Everybody knows what that is. If you've ever seen somebody with it in your life, potential congestive heart failure, the chronic venous insufficiency, which was acute. It wasn't over an extended period of time, which indicates congestive heart failure. The bruise on his hand, which obviously they're pumping some sort of medicine into him. We don't know what it is. It could be Leqembi for early Alzheimer's. It could be something else for, the state of his blood flow because his heart's not working very well. There's speculation around mini strokes. He always disappears at the beginning of every month. He's been to the hospital been to the doctor a ridiculous number of times since he's been back in the White House. And then all the signs piling up on his brain simply not functioning anymore. I mean, it is out of this world. His dad had Alzheimer's, so he's 3 to 15 times more likely to have it himself. And you all know the behavioral disinhibition, the lack of impulse control, the phonemic paraphasia, the confabulation, the decline in verbal complexity, the repetition and fixation, the sundowning, the gait abnormalities. I don't even need to say anything else. You get the point. But holy shit, this one was rough.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
So Elon Musk, in the midst of committing fraud and Nazi posting on Twitter on a daily basis, he decided to sit down for an interview with The Economist. And man, did this fucking backfire. I mean, this guy he's a mess. He's out of control. He's unhinged. He has zero people skills. Least charming man on the planet. And he sat down for this interview. And what he didn't realize is that there are some people who still know how to do the bare minimum when it comes to being a reporter, being a journalist, or interviewing somebody. And he thought, I guess this was going to be a fucking fluffer fest, but it wasn't. And the result is him basically crashing out like a baby for an extended period of time. So let's start with this one here, where he's pressed on all the shit he says on Twitter about Britain. How there's an Islamic takeover of Britain and the West has fallen and we got to stop these grooming and grape gangs and just nonstop fucking white nationalist Nazi posting, lie on top of lie on top of lie. And he finally gets called on his horse shit. Let's listen.
You have, what is it, close to 250 million followers on X.
Yeah, because I'm
you say things like,
popular guy.
quote,
he literally force feeds everybody his posts. Have you ever seen those like maps, those charts of like, what are the tweets that people see the most, from which creators do they see the most? And it's like, Elon is the biggest by far because he owns the platform and he force feeds people his shit. No, this isn't organic. You fucking rigged the algorithm, you disgusting fuck. He looks like a beluga whale and he's up there, oh, I'm really popular. Oh, are you? Now, I don't know if you know this, buddy. It's not fucking 2010 anymore. Everybody knows you're a fascist, on top of being a fucking trillionaire, on top of being a murderer who has blood on your hands because of all the fucking programs you cut, the USAID programs that you cutting off people's malaria medication, their HIV medication, all sorts of stuff that objectively led to deaths. He's going to crash out about that later on too, by the way.
You have, what is it, close to 250 million followers on X.
Yeah, because I'm
you say things like,
popular guy.
quote, civil war in Britain is inevitable, just a question
on the current
of when.
trend, yes.
I mean, when were you last in the UK?
A few years ago.
Exactly. So I live there. I'm there the whole time. That is nonsense.
You live a cloistered existence.
No, I don't, actually. And the numbers also disprove what you say.
What numbers?
All the numbers about crime. London is a much safer city than any city in the United States. Violent crime in the UK is not where you think it is. In fact, it's coming down. You have painted, and because you have so many followers, so many Americans believe it, a kind of view that Europe and the UK are kind of, overrun with terrifying Muslim immigrants. There's rape on every corner. There's a sort of civilizational
I
destruction.
haven't said any of those things.
It's like he gets a little pushback. Oh, I didn't even say it. Shut the fuck up. Everybody knows. Anybody could go look at your fucking Twitter feed. It looks deranged. It looks like fucking Anders Breivik.
If you have a large and rapidly growing group of people whose beliefs are antithetical to Western beliefs.
Are they all the same? Every brown-skinned immigrant in the UK, everybody from a Muslim background in the UK, you don't know the fucking first thing of what you're talking about, you disgusting fuck.
At some point, there will be a reckoning. They will try to implement their views, and those who oppose it will oppose it, and that's what you call civil war.
I love, by the way, that Elon Musk just backed a far-right fascist government in the U.S., was part of this oligarchy and this kakistocracy and this fascism in the U.S. And the scary line they put out there about Muslims is that, they're going to bring their backwards, super conservative ideas to the enlightened West. You just backed those shitty far-right ideas, you fucking prick. So you can't fearmonger about, the far-right social beliefs of Muslims when you also believe in the far-right social beliefs. It's like they can't even be consistent in their fucking bigotry. I mean, this guy is just such a fucking idiot. It's astonishing that anybody ever thought this guy was an actual genius. He's a con artist. He's a scammer. That's what he is. He's the king of vaporware. He's the king of fraud. He took $38 billion from U.S. taxpayers to make a bunch of rockets that explode, and then he turns around and lectures people if they're getting like 17 cents for food for their kid who's starving, right? Like, oh, look at these welfare queens and these moochers and these parasites. You're the fucking parasite, you sick fuck. You're the parasite.
And obviously, this is the trend. And
by the way, he looks like a bloated corpse. I just wanted to say that. And it's obvious. Like, everybody's thinking it. I'm going to be the one to actually say it. He looks like a bloated corpse. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what drugs he's on. Is he still on ketamine? Maybe. We know that he was addicted to it for a while. Is he still on it? I don't know. You tell me. But he looks horrible. He looks terrible.
You absolutely do live in a cloistered existence. And if you'd like, we can go on a tour of Britain.
Sure.
And
I'd be very happy to come on a tour of Britain.
And you will see
you
for
come
yourself.
see my country that I live in all the time, and you haven't been to a few years ago.
I've been there literally 100 times.
But when was the last time?
Literally a few years ago.
You know
I know it better than you. I was there a few years ago when she lives there.
This exercises me because you have really shaped opinion about the UK, and so many Americans I come across and I have conversations with, and I just had one the other day along the order of, oh, London's such a dangerous place. How can you know? There are sort of grooming gangs everywhere.
By the way, these idiots do the same thing with blue cities in the U.S. Oh, you can't go to New York. New York is a crime-ridden hellhole. You can't go to L.A. L.A. sucks. Rogan does this all the time. Then you actually go to those cities and you're like, oh shit, this is nothing like what I was told. It's the classic meme of like conservative guys scared of cities. And the bottom line is, when you actually objectively look at the data, you find out very quickly that these blue cities are so much better than the red states and the red areas. There's no doubt about it. Like, on every single metric that matters, the blue states do better, and the blue cities are doing better, and they're doing the heavy lifting for the country, right? They're net tax payers. The red areas are net tax receivers. The quality of life is better there. The educational systems are better there. The healthcare systems are better there. So it's all fucking cope. There's all cope to go after, places that are actually better than, Elon. Elon knows that we're like a hellscape right now in the U.S., but he's trying to pretend like, oh, actually, it's the UK, and they're like socialist ideas that are leading to a Muslim takeover and the fall of civilization. Shut the fuck up.
This is a picture that people get from things that you post or that are posted on X. And for example, you're posting for, 48 hours of Citizen Vigilante. That film with...
by the way, a movie where it's just like a guy murdering Muslims because like, oh, that's what we should do is murder Muslims. Not even kidding.
Yes.
Paints a dystopian... I've watched it.
Yes.
It was not fun. I watched it yesterday. It's not a very good movie. But it also paints a dystopian picture of Europe. And it glorifies vigilante violence. It glorifies the murdering of a Muslim immigrant family.
Yep.
I honestly think that it is irresponsible for you to put that up on X.
I think that it's a movie, and it's worth watching.
Dumbest man on the planet. 0 fucking brain cells left. All right, the ketamine fucking ate it all. Notice that when she points out the obvious fact that cutting medical care to millions of people will cause some people to die, he immediately crashes out and says everyone is lying because he knows it's true. So here he's confronted about all the U.S. aid cuts, and he tells the most brazen lie I've ever heard. Here we go.
There that could step in, because bear in mind this it happened quickly. So and there are literally tens of thousands of NGOs.
Not everyone functions as fast as you do. If funding is cut off for antiretrovirals overnight, and it just stops, then people will die when they don't have access to them. And it just
only if they cannot get funding for that. But the Gates Foundation has $50 billion. What about that? What about any one of a number of organizations? What about
well, in lots of these countries, USAID...
Mackenzie, whatever her last name is, used to be Bezos, gave $50 billion. What about that?
But, let's be practical. In many of these countries, USAID was the biggest funder. But I don't want to have an argument
USAID was a political organization.
may also have been that, but it was the biggest funder of healthcare systems. So I'm very
Biggest
sure that there
funder
was
of regime change.
Oh, no. We're not doing this. We are not fucking doing this. Elon Musk has zero problem with regime change. What was that post? I think it was about Bolivia, where he was like, you know, we'll change whatever regime we want. We'll overthrow whoever we want. We'll put in whoever we want. He supports regime change. He's using this to try to dodge accountability for the fact that he has blood directly on his hands. That when you cut off these like crucial last line of defense, aid funds for these places that desperately need it, yes, people die as a result of that.
And there may well be benefits from having changed
Also,
the system.
USAID funding was not stopped. It was moved to the State Department.
Absolutely was fucking gutted.
Huge numbers of things shut down in Africa that were
No, there were
health related.
claims of this. These claims are false.
He's such a liar. Oh my days. He literally expects you to not do any research, to not look anything up, not read any specifics. He's relying on the ignorance and stupidity of his own audience to not question what he says and do a bare fucking minimum amount of research.
They're nonsense. And absolute nonsense. But
look at her face. She's like, are you really going to try to make this argument right now?
obviously, just for when
Spit it out, son.
funding is stopped for
He's on double speed.
fraudulent organizations or for something, do you think they're going to say, well, please keep funding the fraud? Or do you think they're going to come up with a sad story that sounds sympathetic?
There is zero fucking evidence that you stopped any motherfucking fraud. By the way, where are the fraud cases? Where are the fraud cases? Who's being prosecuted? Who's being investigated? Who's being prosecuted? Nothing fucking came of it because you're lying. Because the whole point of Doge was to be a fucking wrecking ball because you don't believe in the government's capacity to do good things. So you stop them from doing good things. This man is responsible for cutting off funding to pediatric cancer research, Meals on Wheels, the National fucking Weather Service. They shut half of the Social Security offices, which led to tremendous wait times, for example. I can go on and on here. They destroyed the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is basically the part of the government that stops you from getting scammed. It prevents you from being scammed, or it helps you after you get scammed. This is what this guy did, and he's acting like he's some sort of fucking hero. Fuck him.
In order to get the funding restored. Obviously, it will be the latter, and that's exactly what they did. But zero died because of
that's
Doge.
what I would take issue with.
Zero.
I think
Total fucking liar. Look at his face. He knows he's lying.
I actually have a lot of sympathy for the change of the aid regime that the US under the Trump administration has precipitated. However, I think the pace and the suddenness with which it happened will almost certainly have caused unnecessary suffering and deaths. And I think both of those can be true.
I think that's totally false.
Because you're an idiot, and you're a liar, and you're just trying to save your ass from motherfucking prosecution. He thought he was cooked if Kamala won the election, saying, they're going to come after me, I'm going to be in fucking prison. Now, after this motherfucking Doge illegal crime spree he went on, oh, you definitely should fear that, son.
Okay. Well,
and obviously false, because there are the amount of funding we're talking about is far less than what can be done, than what can be supported by a private by foundations like the Gates Foundation.
Literally the exact opposite is true. The exact fucking opposite is true. He's acting like, oh, private people could, charity, they could do more than what USA does. The opposite is true. You cannot make up for in private donations what you get from a public institution like that.
Or Mackenzie Bezos' foundation. She's given away tens of billions of dollars. The Gates Foundation has tens of billions of dollars. They are capable of acting very quickly.
So don't look at my crimes because there might be some nice billionaire somewhere that maybe fill in some of the gap. Fuck you, you're still a criminal.
And if they didn't, I would say they're equally responsible.
Oh no! So people doing a good thing with their own money, somehow they're equally responsible if they lower the amount or shift it to a different area. But you, when you go on a fucking gangster crusade and illegally hack into the back of the treasury and cut off whatever funding you want, that's perfectly acceptable. Fuck you.
All right, fair point.
Zero people.
I hear you loud and clear.
Zero.
Fucking liar. Fucking liar. By the way, let's do a little Google here. USA deaths, okay? Very first thing that comes up. USAID shutdown has led to hundreds of thousands of deaths. That was from November 20th of 2025 from Harvard. A Harvard study immediately on November 20th, 2025 said hundreds of thousands of deaths. There were stories of hospitals being shut down and people on ventilators dying because of Elon Musk's USAID cuts. That's what I read. That's what I covered. Okay? How about UCLA? Research finds more than 14 million preventable deaths will occur in due time because of the cutting of USAID. The Lancet, evaluating the impacts of 2 decades of USAID. And you can see here, USAID funding was associated with 65% reduction, blah, 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 in mortality of HIV/AIDS, and that representing 25.5 million deaths, okay? There's articles about, like, you don't have to look that far. Just look at the fucking AI overview, Okay? Death toll estimates and models, immediate estimates, research groups, and academic trackers, including models from Boston University epidemiologists, estimate that over 700,000 to 800,000 people have died following the freezing and shutdown of aid programs, with roughly 2/3 of them, of the victims, being children. The majority of the 700 to 800,000 dead are children. Long-term projections. Published studies in The Lancet warn that sustained defunding could result in over 14 million excess deaths globally by 2030, including 4.5 million deaths among children under 5. This man is a Hitler-level criminal. That's what he is. He needs to go to prison. He needs to go to prison for life. For life. Do you understand me? I'm not done yet, though. Now let's go to this one. Now he crashes out after he's presented with the reality that a lot of people fucking hate his ass. 21.9 million views on this, by the way. Ready? Here we go.
I mean, some people do loathe you.
Yes, some people do.
But do you understand why? Do you think what you're doing is helpful for Western democracy?
Maybe some people do loathe me. And that's probably true. I don't care.
I'm sure, buddy. I'm sure. You look like you don't care.
But the fact that, as you pointed out, 250 million people follow me is that I think a lot more people actually like me than.
Oh yeah, I have a lot of followers on social media. Oh yeah? They don't care that I cut pediatric cancer research and Meals on Wheels and killed 800,000 people with my illegal cuts. They don't care about that. They don't care that I took $38 billion from them to blow up some rockets that don't fucking work. They don't care that I lied about getting to Mars. They don't care that I lied about a Tesla sports car. They don't care that I lied about a Tesla truck. They don't care. They actually like me, okay? They like me.
The fact that, as you pointed out, 250 million people follow me is that I think a lot more people actually like me than don't. And I think a lot more people hate you and the media more than you realize. Do you realize the media is despised? Do you realize that journalists, the view of journalists is like, it's like a favorable view of journalists is like 15%.
I do know that. In the United States.
So the shoe is...
Spit it out, bitch! Spit it out!
...on the other foot. They hate you. They hate you far more than they hate me.
I think there is certainly a loss of trust in journalism. I think in part there have been mistakes by journalists and journalism. I totally acknowledge that. But I also think that the kind of polarized environment, particularly on social media, fostered by the kinds of things you are pushing on X, actually helps this, makes it worse.
I don't think so. I think you're the problem, the media. And speaking of loathing, you're loathed far more than I am.
He just makes the same point over and over and over. I got news for you, Elon. Nobody knows who she is. Yes, the media as a broad institution is hated, but the reason why they're hated is because they suck up to trillionaires and billionaires like your dumbass. That's why the media is hated. Because the media sucks off MAGA or protects MAGA, sucks off trillionaires and billionaires or protects trillionaires and billionaires, and generally has a political axe to grind. Fox News is state regime propaganda. That's what they are. Okay? Joe Rogan gives a billionaire a fucking smooth hand job on his show every other week when he's not giving a hand job to some MAGA idiot or some shitty comedian who stopped being funny in 2007. Okay? Who are we kidding? Yeah, the lack of trust in media is because of fucking billionaires and corporations who've bought the media and rigged it. So you're at the core of the problem. You are. Billionaires and trillionaires are the core of the motherfucking problem. You're the fucking problem. You are. People hate you and they should hate you. And now what's going to happen is people are now learning, oh shit, my enemy is not the black person or the brown person or the immigrant or the trans person or the gay person or the Muslim or the Jew. My problem is not any minority group unless we're talking about billionaires. They are the problem. They've rigged the system. They've bought the system. They've rigged the government. They've bought the government. That's why you don't have a fair shot at life. And they have a yacht that goes inside of their bigger yacht. Okay, they have 17 fucking mansions. They own the political system. They buy the politicians. This is the problem. You're the fucking problem. And this guy's got some fucking nerve talking to an economist journalist who nobody ever heard of, acting like they hate you. They don't know her. They don't know her. Okay? They do know you, and they fucking despise you. You're a disgusting piece of shit. Elon Musk, this is the last thing you need to understand in this segment. And this is why he's crashing out. This is why he's stumbling and bumbling. Elon Musk is responsible for cutting the program that now led to the rise of screwworm in this country, which, of course, is destroying the beef industry. So now when you go, oh my God, beef is so expensive. What's going on here? Thank Elon Musk for that. Thank some 21-year-old snot-nosed Doge kid who's probably on fucking Adderall and ketamine, who does Elon Musk's bidding. Thank him for that. Okay? Thank Elon Musk for the cuts to pediatric cancer research and the cuts to the NWS and the cuts to Meals on Wheels and the cuts to the CFPB. Thank Elon Musk for the fact that our nuclear safety officials got fired and FEMA no longer functions and the Department of Education has been gutted and 83,000 veterans were fired and half the Social Security offices were closed and 250,000 public workers were fired. Okay? And there's no more routine food safety inspections, which is giving people fucking explosive cyclospora wet diarrhea. Okay, thank him for the air traffic controllers being fired and planes crashing. Thank him for the scientific research funding being cut. And now we have brain drain in this country, and the best and the brightest don't want to come here anymore. Okay, thank him for the deaths from USAID. That's the bottom line. Is anybody who knew all the facts, he would be at the top of the list of people to hate. It's him and Donald fucking Trump and Stephen Miller and Netanyahu. Those would be top of the motherfucking list. But here he is crashing out because he knows that she's 100% right.
I think you're the problem, the media. And speaking of loathing, you're loathed far more than I am. And you don't seem to even realize that.
I think very few people know who I am relative to you, so I don't
Thank you. Nobody knows her.
think I play in the same game.
The media collectively. So, I mean, you're hated.
There's very few groups in this country that are hated more than the media broadly. But one of them is billionaires. And that's your fucking group, Elon. That's your fucking group. So hold this fucking big fat L, you disgusting, bloated, beluga whale-looking, corpse-ass bitch, and move the fuck on. Move on.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
All right, y'all, so crazy moment just occurred at this Trump rally. First of all, why are you even doing a rally, bro? Like, what's the purpose of doing a rally right now? But he's out there, he's doing a rally, and somebody in the audience starts screaming at him, pedophile protector, pedophile protector, pedophile protector. And he's trying to almost pretend like he doesn't hear it for a while. He's got this like awkward look on his face, and he's trying to rush through what he's saying. And then finally, it becomes like unavoidable, like he has to address it. And the way he addresses it is like the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. Watch this.
Tremendous problems for your jobs. But now all of that is changing because I placed historic tariffs on foreign producers and manufacturers, including a 25% tariff on foreign automobiles, something that no other president had the courage to ever do. He's a communist. He's a communist. Thank you. He's a communist. We're running against communists. Now, this is great.
Cooked. Barbecued. It's so over, bro. Like, that's the best you could do? That's the best you could do. Is, they're communists. We're running against communists. He's a communist. That's insane. Like, the claim against you is you are protecting the Epstein class, a group of elite pedophile billionaires, and you know that's true. You know you are one of those elite pedophile billionaires, and so you have no rebuttal, and so you just crash out and say communist. Well, look, I'd much rather be a communist than a pedophile protector, and I think most people would probably agree with that. And then, by the way, it is now official. The Republican Party is the party of pedophiles. There's no way around it, because everybody in that audience heard what that guy said, and they all know he's right. It's like literally an objective fact to say he's protecting pedophiles. That's a fact. There's been 0 Epstein arrests, but they're arresting people who put their hand in the fucking reflecting pool of water. Okay? So they all know it's true, and they're still defending Trump, and they're chanting USA. I mean, how embarrassing. What a fucking pathetic display. And this is one of the many reasons why Republicans are going to get absolutely fucking blown outski in the midterms. So this is kind of crazy, y'all. But it appears like Lindsey Graham casually committed treason before his death. Okay, so let me walk you through this here. Look at this. So there's some new reporting out. I believe it's from Reuters or the Wall Street Journal. Let's say Wall Street Journal, okay? And they say this. Senator Lindsey Graham planned to travel to Florida in early March to persuade President Trump to join Israel in the bombing of Hezbollah in Lebanon until a friend talked him out of it. The friend, former Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, told him on a call before the trip that bringing the U.S. into the operation in the midst of the Iran war was going too far too fast, according to unreleased footage from a documentary about the South Carolina Republican lawmaker that was being filmed before he died earlier this month. So in other words, Lindsey Graham was directly, secretly colluding with Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, the head of the foreign head of state, okay? And he was working with him to help try to shape and control U.S. foreign policy and manipulate Trump into doing stuff on behalf of Israel. I mean, this is like literally open treason, and we actually have video of some of this shit. So here we go. Here's video from the Wall Street Journal. This is after Trump decided to bomb the shit out of Iran, okay, including bombing the little girls' school. And listen to how excited Lindsey Graham is here. This is crazy.
Virtually everything they have has been knocked out now. Their missile count is going way down. Amazingly, they're hitting countries that
Look what we've done here.
I know.
I almost cried.
Yeah.
I mean, like, how long have we been pushing this?
Well, you've been pushing this for years, right?
Right. It's here.
Fuck it. He's like literally a super villain, bro. This is out of this world. I almost cried for tears of joy because we finally got Trump to illegally and aggressively attack a country that wasn't a threat.
I talked to Trump this morning. Oh, he's jacked.
Yeah.
It's the best thing I've ever done. He loves blowing stuff up. So, you know, there are a lot of people inside didn't want to do it. So I've had my challenges. But President Trump, when he gets into the zone, he listens, he asks good questions, you know, no tweeting. He has done he hadn't tweeted much at all, no drama. He's been a great wartime president. I said last night that Trump and Bibi are like Roosevelt and Churchill. I mean, they're the right two guys to confront.
Oh my God. He said he loves blowing stuff up. He was talking about how long have I want to do this. Openly colluding. All right, here we go. Here's a call with Netanyahu. Listen to this.
Do you have it on speaker, Ryan?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. All right, connecting you now.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Bibi, Lindsey.
Hey, Lindsey. How are you?
I'm just so impressed. Glad to be your friend.
I'm glad you are, my friend.
I'm going to meet with the president this weekend. I'm going down to Doral. I'm going to try to get him to join with y'all in Lebanon to maybe fly some with you. Would you like that?
Yeah, I get that. I think you have a point, but I've been thinking about the other side of it for a second. We're concentrating right now on Iran. If we tell Hezbollah that we're going all the way, we threaten them, but if we actually do it, then they have no reason not to go all the way against us. And right now, that's not our interest. We can do it later.
Well, well, that's actually good counsel. I'll put it out there as an idea. We can always go back to it.
Oh my days, bro. He's literally more of a hawk than Benjamin Netanyahu. He's more of a neocon war hawk psychopath than modern day Adolf Hitler, who's doing a genocide, who's doing now multiple genocides. How fucking ludicrous. And it was Netanyahu going, look, there's a revolt in the American public against the Iran war. If y'all start bombing Lebanon for us, another illegal war of aggression against a country that didn't attack us, if you start bombing them, I don't know, dog. I think your country's gonna fucking revolt against that shit. And Lindsey Graham's sitting there like, I want to bomb more. My precious bombs must bomb more brown kids. More innocent brown kids must die. Oh my days, bro. Oh my days. By the way, you cannot fucking convince me that Mossad doesn't have the thickest file on this man, dog. You cannot convince me that Mossad doesn't know his nickname is Ladybugs. You cannot convince me that Mossad doesn't have pictures and videos and audio of him with like hundreds or thousands of sex workers doing depraved shit, him wearing a little tutu in a fucking rundown motel in Washington, D.C., shoving pool cues up his ass and shit. You cannot tell me that that's not the case, because I guarantee you that's the motherfucking case. But here's Lindsey Graham just casually, nonchalantly, all blasé, committing treason, working with a foreign government. By the way, it is so, like, anybody who says he's not Israel first is a liar. Lindsey Graham doesn't think at all about America. He doesn't think at all about Americans. All he thinks about is what war he wants to do next, what shit he wants to blow up next. That's all he thinks about. That's all he cares about. That's it. It is astonishing seeing this stuff. All right, more. just to show you who we're dealing with here. Do you guys remember that old clip of Benjamin Netanyahu, where this is before the Iraq War? He testifies in front of Congress, and in no uncertain terms, he says, look, we have to attack Iraq because it's going to be awesome. It's going to go great. Saddam Hussein's going to fall, then other countries in the region are going to fall, then democracy is going to sweep through the region like you've never seen before. And everybody's going to be happy, everybody's going to be healthy, it's going to be a democratic system now set up in all these different countries, and it's going to be glorious. They're going to be cheering for us. They're going to welcome us as liberators. They're going to greet us. They're going to love us. This is what Netanyahu says. Then, of course, literally every single thing he said turned out to be totally fucking wrong. Every single thing he said turned out to be dead wrong. Okay. Well, here's Lindsey Graham before all this happened. All the the multiple attacks, the war against Iran, the blowing up of the Middle East, the rampant Western and Israeli aggression. Listen to what Lindsey Graham said here. This is astonishing because it shows you they're always going to be wrong. They're not only wrong about shit in the past, they're wrong today. Listen to this. Here we go.
Able to deliver. Oh, to be honest with you, I think about 3 to 4 weeks, we should have them in a spot where they start losing control of some cities. And what we're
So this is March 4th. So this is after, I believe, the June was the first round of bombing where they went after Fordo and said we destroyed everything. Then they started the war again in February 28th. So this is at the beginning of the war, like a week in or so. And he's saying, oh, watch, cities are going to fall. Just wait.
Losing control of some cities. Oh. And what we're trying to do is just get a few cities to fall in the next month. Get the Arabs more openly involved tomorrow or by the end of the week. And just have almost irreversible momentum.
Oh, we're just going to get a few cities to fall, then the Arabs will come in, then we'll have momentum, and then everything will be perfect. Not a single motherfucking city fall. A city didn't fall, a town didn't fall, a fucking village didn't fall, a county didn't fucking fall. Not a single motherfucking thing fell. Nothing fell. Nothing fell. Wrong about everything, this man is. Wrong about absolutely everything. So just keep this in mind. Now, by the way, at the same time, let's remember, the House of Representatives passed the National Defense Authorization Act, which is over $1 trillion to the military. But in that, it also includes a provision. I believe it's Section 219. At one point, it was 224. I think it's 219 now. But what that says is that the U.S. and Israel are now going to be married at the hip together in the sense that we're going to do more intelligence sharing with each other, and we're going to do, creation of weaponry and things of that nature together. And Benjamin Netanyahu is on the record as saying that this is my plan. This is our plan. This is what I want. So Netanyahu's going around going, oh, I don't want U.S. support anymore. We don't need that anymore. We're good. But it's a trick because he wants to basically make it baked into the cake of how everything functions. They want to make it so we're partners, that they're not, a recipient of our aid. They're partners with us. So it's a way for Israel to sort of get their claws into the government in a way that's irreversible, in the same way that Palantir is doing the same thing. Peter Thiel wants his claws in the government in a way that's irreversible. So even if a good president comes along and goes, we're done with this, we're breaking up with Israel, and we're breaking up with Palantir, you can't, because they're so deeply embedded in our systems that it becomes impossible to break up with them. That's what this is. And every single fucking Republican except one, Thomas Massie, voted for that. Every Republican voted for treason. They support treason. Lindsey Graham did treason here on camera. That's what this is. They're not representing America. They're colluding with a foreign fucking evil villain head of state and making decisions that way for the benefit of that country, not our country. And every Republican except one committed treason, and I believe there were 6 Democrats in the House that committed treason, and you're not going to be surprised to learn they all take a colossal amount of money from AIPAC, because fucking of course they do. So there you have it. This video says it all. Good riddance.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
So AOC was asked about her fellow Democratic colleagues smearing DSA, going after them, calling them communists, disagreeing with them. And she, first of all, is very fed up with the fact that she is even being asked about her, further right-wing Democrat colleagues and what they say about it and, responding to it. She clearly doesn't want to do that. But I think the way that she answers here is actually phenomenal. And it's actually exactly how Democratic politicians should respond to such a question. So she's going to break it down for us here. She's going to walk you through her thought process. And this is also, clearly this was all like, shoot from the hip as she was leaving Congress to go somewhere. There were a bunch of reporters surrounding her, throwing questions at her. But listen to how she handles this, because this is actually super important. Let's watch.
When the DSA platform has also getting rid of the Supreme Court and getting rid of the presidency and restructuring
They're
the
having
government.
a party, aren't they, over there? They're having a blast. They're having a good time.
What do you think about the Supreme Court reform?
Sorry.
One of your colleagues tells me DSA is a communist organization. What do you make of that? How those words are used interchangeably on the right?
Just don't care. I think these folks call everyone they don't like a communist.
By the way, we're going to hear her out for the rest of it, but right there, game, set, match, in my opinion. That's the undeniable point that nobody can get around, is that literally anybody and everybody that the right wing dislikes and they go after, they will call you a communist. They called Obama a communist. They called Hillary Clinton a communist. They will call anybody and everybody a communist if you are in the Democratic Party or just slightly left of center. We're all the same to them. We're all the same. Okay, so that's point number one, and that's what you need to realize. So the argument of, don't give the right-wingers a win by saying certain things. Crumple that up, throw it in the garbage, never think like that again, because it doesn't matter what you actually stand for if you're left of center. They will tar you as being an extremist. They will tar you with being a communist. They've been doing that for fucking decades. So don't worry about what the other side has to say in their fucking delusional attacks against you. Call out that it's fucking delusional. But let's keep going, because this gets even better.
I think that America is a free country. They're out here palling around with whoever they want to pal around with. So what? People can do what they want. I'm not here to be the belief police around here.
She's not done yet. She's got more, and it's awesome. But let me just say this. AOC is clearly better off the cuff. And I think she needs to be told that. People around her need to tell her that. And I think that she needs to try her best to always be off the cuff. I don't need her fucking having overly prepared speeches or statements or trying to memorize a line. No. Talk from your heart, because that's when you freak it, okay? That's when you nail it. And by the way, not everybody's like that. There's some people who, they need the prep, they need the pre-planned lines, they need, a roadmap, if you will. And other people are better when they're just shooting from the hip and just letting it rock. Hey, whatever comes out my mouth, comes out my mouth. It is what it is. I'm actually more like AOC in that respect, where it's almost like the more I prep to say some shit, the worst I do. Whereas if I just come out here and just speak from the heart, it works way better. She is clearly like that, because she's freaking in with this answer, but I'm not done yet. So here we go. Let's keep going.
Do what they want. I'm not here to be the belief police around here.
But isn't there concern that, this slippery slope towards socialism inevitably ends up as full-blown communism? No?
I'm not concerned about America turning into a communist country in a year. That is I think that is, I think that's, I think it's very silly. You just think about how impossible it has been to raise the minimum wage in America in 10, 15, 20 years. We can't even raise the minimum wage. Do Republicans really think that this stuff is going to happen? No, they don't. They're trying to scare people because they don't want us talking about the fact that we all have a right to health care in this country. So they want to call it communist, and they want to call everything they don't like communist, because if people actually wake up to the fact that their elected officials are screwing them over when they get here, then they're going to realize that they deserve better.
She's so right. They did this to Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, when she first became the heir apparent, she started running on, we're going to ban price gouging for groceries. And they pulled that issue, and it was through the fucking roof. Democrats loved it. Republicans liked it. Independents loved it. And what happened was Trump and all the Republicans went out there. J.D. Vance, they all went out there and said, this is communism. Communism. She's a communist. She's a communist. They started hitting her over that. Then Biden advisors infiltrated Kamala's campaign, and they got her to back off of saying that. But if I was helping her at that time, I would have told her, no, you need to lean into stuff like this, because then you're having the fights you want to have, because you're out there going, I want to lower grocery prices. Ask them why they don't want to do that. They can call it whatever the fuck they want to call it. At the end of the day, I'm lowering grocery prices for you. How come they don't want to do that and I do want to do that? Who are you going to vote for? The person who wants to lower grocery prices for you or the person who doesn't? Right? So you can bait them into attacking you on your strengths. So when you go out there and say, I want Medicare for all, and then their response is, as Trump has said, Medicare for all is Medicare for none. That literally doesn't even make no sense. No, it's Medicare for all, not Medicare for none. But what that does is it highlights that we're for universal health care, they're not. We actually want to help you, they don't. Right? And you can go on and on. Whether it's like, you know, free childcare or a higher minimum wage, bait them into taking unpopular positions. And they think they have this trump card, no pun intended, where they say, but it's communist. But you actually don't have a trump card, because when people hear that, they go, you've called 78 people communists since last Tuesday. Why the fuck would I care about some label that you slapped on them when I'm listening to what the actual substance of what they're saying is? So it doesn't work. It's not fucking 1980, 82 anymore. You go, oh, communism. Everybody goes, let me shut my brain off and run in the other direction. That doesn't work anymore. It doesn't fucking work. And so she's right. And so many centrist Democrats have been baited into not running on popular ideas for fear of the right calling them communists. Well, they're going to call you communist anyway. So you might as well stand for good ideas. Like, I think AOC absolutely gets it, and I think so many Democrats don't, and I think she's sort of fed up that she even has to bother answering this question because it's an annoying fucking question. Like, you have reporters, in all seriousness, going, but don't you think we might go communist? And she's like, are you fucking kidding me? What is wrong with you? We can't even get we haven't raised the minimum wage since the fucking George W. Bush years. And you're telling me you're afraid of the U.S. becoming communist? Oh, my days. All right, I'm going to listen again. Here we go. She's not done. I want to listen to the full thing again. Here we go.
I'm not here to be the belief police around here.
But isn't there concern that, you know, this slippery slope towards socialism inevitably ends up as full-blown communism?
I also love that we're in the midst of fascism and oligarchy and kakistocracy. And she's going, what about the opposite extreme? Have you looked around and seen the fucking ICE concentration camps? Have you seen the illegal wars being waged? Have you seen the protection of the fucking billionaire pedophile clan? Have you seen that? Oh, what about socialism?
I mean, no. I'm not concerned about America turning into
AOC is literally laughing at this woman, and I love it.
communist country in like a year. That is like, I think that is. Oh, sorry. I think that's. I think it's very silly. You just think about how impossible it has been to raise the minimum wage in America in 10, 15, 20 years. We can't even raise the minimum wage. Do Republicans really think that this stuff is going to happen? No, they don't. They're trying to scare people because they don't want us talking about the fact that we all have a right to healthcare in this country. So they want to call it communist, and they want to call everything they don't like communist, because if people actually wake up to the fact that their elected officials are screwing them over when they get here, then they're going to realize that they deserve better, and that healthcare as a right isn't crazy. It isn't pie in the sky. They want to call this stuff communist because they don't want us to realize that the rest of the developed world has guaranteed healthcare in this country. So they want to call it communist because they don't want you to know that Germany, Italy, the UK, Canada, everybody else has it better than us, and we spend the most amount of money for the worst care in the modern developed world.
But Democrats will say the moment they regain power, they will pack this.
Sorry, guys. I'm not trying to keep y'all safe here.
She literally can't even cross the street because she's being mobbed by them. And the other point I would make is this, and feel free to use this, any politicians out there who are ideologically on the same page as me, but are there some people getting elected these days who are to my left? Yes, there are. I would say Daria Liza is to my left, but I still want her to win. I still want her to succeed. And the reason I say that is the only way we can drag the Overton window back to sanity is to get people who are too far left. Right now, the spectrum is fucking just out there in La La Land and Narnia, so far to the right you can't even see them anymore. Okay? Right now, we have fascism, oligarchy, and kakistocracy running this country into the ground. And so the only way you can drag the Overton window back to a place that's sane and makes sense is to get some people in there who are genuinely to my left, who are too far left, who can drag us back to a place where maybe we do end up getting universal health care, or at the very least a public option, right? Like, how do you expect to get to a place where we massively fund our infrastructure and give us the #1 infrastructure in the world? How do you expect to end the corruption and get clean elections? How do you expect to end the wars and do universal health care and a higher minimum wage and a 4-day work week and eliminating medical debt and Social Security for all? How do you expect to get there unless there's some countervailing force that's pulling the spectrum back to a place of reason and sanity? And in order to get that Overton window back to a balanced place, you need far left. You need actual communists to be elected to get us to a place where we might actually get universal health care. I'm not fucking kidding. I'm not a communist, but you would need communists elected to get actual universal health care in this country. Okay? Because having the left flank be social democrats or even democratic socialists like Bernie Sanders, that is not going to get us to our end state of creating even a Scandinavian welfare style system. It's not going to happen. So anybody left punching in this moment is shooting themselves in the dick, is shooting themselves in the foot. Okay, anybody left punching is doing the right dirty work for them, is effectively a MAGA henchman, whether or not they realize it. And that's why people need to wake up and realize where we're at right now. So I love the entire answer there from AOC. Like I said, the only thing I would add is what I said there, which is if there are people to my left getting elected, great. Maybe they'll help drag us back to a place that makes sense. But yeah, they're going to call all of us communists anyway. They're going to call all of us communists anyway. When we propose Medicare for all, they're going to scream it's communist. When we propose a higher minimum wage, they're going to scream it's communist. When we propose childcare, they're going to call it communist. It literally doesn't. They will do that on everything. And the reason why they're doing that, as AOC pointed out, is they can't actually fight us on the substance. They can't actually fight us on the policies because they have none. They have all the dumbest fucking policies in the world. So instead of actually engaging in good faith, it's a cheap shortcut to just go, it's communist, and try to short circuit your brain and make it shut off and not actually look at what we're trying to do here. So anyway, love that answer. That's how you handle it, y'all.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
So Hunter Biden did a podcast here with Nick Fuentes with on Andrew Callahan's Channel 5 YouTube channel. Definitely go check it out, by the way. Go watch the whole thing. I listened to the whole thing the other day. Now, I'm going to play a clip for you here in just a second where I think Hunter does a great job smacking down Nick's racism to his face, okay? But having said that, I first want to just talk about whether or not this should have been done in the first place, right? Like, Hunter, I kind of give Hunter a little bit of a pass for the simple fact that he's basically been muzzled his entire life until, like, right now. So he feels like, yeah, I'll go talk to anybody and everybody and try to get my point of view out there, and he's a recovering addict, and I think this podcast stuff is probably good for him mentally, and I think he represents, his perspective pretty well, if I'm being honest with you. But the whole idea of, like, platforming Nick Fuentes, right? I mean, look, he's super far right. He's a white nationalist. He used to just flat out be a Nazi. He might claim he's not anymore. I'm not here to litigate that one way or the other. But the fact of the matter is, he's a fucking troll, and he's a rage baiter. And, like, he'll say one thing and then claim he didn't say that thing, and he'll go back and forth 7 times. And, like, I don't know what the utility is in talking to somebody like Nick Fuentes, because he doesn't mean half the shit he says. He flip-flops and contradicts himself on a regular fucking basis. And if you actually take the Occam's razor perspective for what he's putting out there in the world, he actually is a Nazi. He actually is a white nationalist. And he said the most insane things anybody's ever said in fucking human history. Okay? So I don't know if it's really worth it to engage with a guy who said stuff like, Hitler was really fucking cool. I admire Hitler. I don't know if it's worth it to engage with a guy who still does Holocaust denial. I don't know if it's worth it to engage with a guy who openly said you should hide your power level and do trickery and deceit to make people think you're more moderate than you are, because that's how we win. I don't know if it's worth it talking to a guy who said, I don't care that much about the genocide in Gaza, and he's ambivalent to it, but he's just using it to go after the Jews, okay? I don't know if we should engage with a guy who said, bravo, good job to the Trump regime for sending 288 people to be tortured and raped in a concentration camp in El Salvador, okay? Fuentes has said women shouldn't have the right to vote, boys and girls should get married as teens. The list goes on, but I don't know what the utility is in talking to him. So let me just say that up front, that I don't think I would have done this in the first place, because he's a troll, and he's a liar, and he flip-flops, and he contradicts himself, and I don't even think he knows what he really believes, but to the extent he believes anything, it's all fucking evil and bad and terrible. So, like, what's the point? Giving him a bigger audience to do some Nazi fucking propaganda? You tell me. But having said all that, listen to the whole thing, make your own mind up. There were points where Hunter did a great job, and here's one of them right here. So, this is where Nick tries to do his whole, race shtick, and Hunter's just not having it. Let's watch.
People don't want to live around that. People don't want to live around that. You know, in Chicago, it rolled on into the summer, and it wasn't, you know, let's say, the anger of the oppressed and the disenfranchised.
So
they were looting. They were looting and carjacking.
Who's they?
The criminals.
Yeah. Who are?
Mostly black.
Nick, you know,
Is that not true?
Yeah, maybe, Nick. I don't know. I just don't. I don't know why you use the platform that you have to make that your target. So are you saying that the problem with the 26-year-old white kid living in suburbia outside of Chicago and his feeling of being disenfranchised is because there was looting and rioting in Minneapolis by black people, and it's black people that are doing it?
Yeah, I mean the problem.
And this is what Nick Fuentes does, right? It like the whole thing is a trick. The whole thing is a psyop. Don't look at the billionaires. Whatever you do, don't look at the oligarchs. Don't look at the billionaires. Don't look at the kleptocracy. Don't look at the oligarchy. Until recently, it was MAGA was the solution, not the problem. Now I would say MAGA is part of the problem. But it goes right back to classic divide and conquer. Divide people along racial lines, along gender lines, along religious lines and ethnic lines. It's the classic divide and conquer trick of the fucking billionaire Epstein class. And he's doing it as he pretends like, no, I'm the voice of the forgotten man and woman. It's total fucking bullshit. It's total bullshit.
Disenfranchised is because there was looting and rioting in Minneapolis by black people, and it's black people that are doing it.
Yeah, I mean the problem with Austin Metcalf was that he got stabbed in the neck at a track meet, and the problem with our city in Chicago is that.
Could you imagine having this conversation and then trying to bring up a random crime done by a random black person? Could you imagine? It is the quintessential cheap demagoguery. That's what that is. Like, you've got to be kidding me. We can point to 1,000 crimes committed, not only by white conservatives, but by, like, you know, Oath Keepers, 3%ers, KKK types, neo-Nazi types. Those happen all the time. We could sit there and have 78 examples of that, but does that really speak to the broader issue in question here? He's got, like, memorized specific black crimes. It's like when Trump does the thing where he's like, the angel moms of the families who, you know, immigrants killed their families. Therefore, we're going to use that to demagogue against all immigrants and try to mass deport millions of people because some immigrants are criminals. Yeah, but in the macro statistics, immigrants commit crime at a lower rate than natural-born American citizens. But that's the whole point is to muddy the waters. The whole point is to make you otherize, you know, the group in question. That's the whole point. It is literally nothing but a trick.
The Magnificent Mile is gone. Water Tower Place is gone because of all the crime.
Nick, and the type of an entire generation of African Americans is that they've been getting killed by cops.
Also, if we're going to talk about fucking crime sprees, you really want to talk about fucking crime sprees? Like, I've never seen a crime spree like we're seeing right now with Trump, with his family, with MAGA, and with the oligarchs that he's emboldening. They all belong in prison. All of them belong in prison. And you're talking about a crime spree done by black people? Like, are you kidding me? You're going to put, like, robbing a convenience store on the same level as the plundering of the oligarch class of the Treasury? What a sick joke.
Decades. What are you talking about, Nick?
Just to commit crime. And listen, it's not...
Nick,
what?
That's not true. It's not true. Are you saying that police brutality as it relates and racism in the police force, in the way in which police treat African Americans? Nick, you could grow up here like I did between Wilmington and Philadelphia. And if you were a black dentist and you lived in Wilmington and you commuted to Philadelphia, the chances of you being pulled over by a state trooper, either Delaware or in Pennsylvania, are about 50 times that would be if it was a white guy. 50 times. And so what you're trying to tell me is that the problem in America right now is that a 26-year-old white kid who lives in suburban Chicago doesn't feel like he has access because he's been canceled or he's been woke, and the problem is black people.
I didn't say the problem's black people.
Well, you just did, Nick. You just said
the problem is crime, and we know who's doing the crime in Chicago.
Yeah, so you're saying it's black people. Why are you fucking dancing around it? Stop dancing around it. Stop being a bitch. Just own the fucking thing you're saying. No, I didn't say that, but you did say that, and then you reiterated it in a way where you clearly said it. What the fuck?
Carjackings, shootings, teen takeovers. We know why there's no business on the Mag Mile anymore, and it's because they steal cars, they drive them through windows. And listen, black people are some of the biggest victims of the black crime. But we're not allowed to talk.
The Fox News bit. That's why he's having this conversation with Hunter. He cares so deeply about the black victims. That's why he's doing it. He cares so deeply about the black victims, y'all.
About it because of the racial
What do you mean you're not allowed
dimension.
to talk about it? We're talking about it right here.
Hey, guys,
you have a platform in which millions of people listen to you, Nick. Millions.
Well, after Elon had to buy Twitter and open.
Bro, he fucking called him on that shit. They try to get away with that slick shit of like, we're oppressed. You're not oppressed, motherfucker. You idiots have the presidency, the House, the Senate, the judiciary. You control every lever of power in this country. And, oh, we're being canceled. We can't talk anymore. You're on a show right now talking to millions of people. Like, the fake victim shit has got to end. It has got to stop. It has to. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. They don't know what actual fucking victimhood is. Please, man.
It up. It wasn't like that before. I was banned from everything for many years. So no, you weren't allowed it. You're right. We can talk about it now, but that's only because the good guys won.
I love his, oh, the black people are the victims, and I'm only out here because I care so deeply about the black victims. Here's a quote from Nick Fuentes. Quote, all black people should be ashamed of crimes committed by others of their race. White people are every single bit justified in being racist. Oh, really, Nick? Is that how it works? That's like the definition of collective punishment. That is the definition of racism and bigotry. Why can't we flip that on you? So Trump keeps pardoning rich old white guys who committed fraud to the tune of billions of dollars, okay? Why can't people look at you and say, better stay away from that white guy? You know how they are. They commit fraud on a regular fucking basis. That's what they do. Or, since Nick Fuentes is actually Mexican, can people look at you and say, well, any crime that some rando Mexican committed somewhere, stay away from that guy. He might commit that same fucking crime. I mean, what a sick joke. So if you are part of a minority community that he disagrees with and he dislikes, then you're responsible for what anybody with your skin color does. But he can get away with anything. Like, you don't tar him with, Trump is white, he did the war in Iran. Therefore, Nick Fuentes, oh, he's a crazy white guy who might wage another illegal war. Better stay away from him. It's fucking ridiculous. It is fucking ridiculous the way that this guy thinks.
You went from being banned on Twitter to being on YouTube to creating an entire show. I know you're not, but now you have Kick and now you have all of these other things. You have an enormous platform. I want to find common ground of how much of a shithead Donald Trump is. We can get there. Okay. What I don't understand is how you didn't recognize that in 2016, and how you didn't recognize that in 2020, and how you didn't recognize that in 2024.
Well, here's the thing, Hunter, and this is where you're ill-equipped for this conversation. His argument against Trump is not that he's a shithead, he's a bad guy, and that's why we shouldn't have supported him. His argument against Trump is he's not fascist enough. He's not serious enough about actually delivering on the worst parts of his agenda. That's Nick's position. Nick's position is, you're not actually doing mass deportation. You need to deport more people. You're not actually imprisoning all the liberals and leftists. You need to follow through with it and actually do it. Like, that's his take. There might be fringe examples of like, okay, he doesn't want the war against Iran to be waged or whatever, and he wants to cut off support to Israel. But when it comes to the domestic approach to politics, he wants the fascism to be carried out in a more effective, efficient, and faster way. He wants a more aggressive version, and he wants it to happen instantly. And this is where you're not equipped for this conversation, Hunter, is because you don't understand. He's not, like, when he goes after Trump, he's not agreeing with you. It's not agreeing with you. You're trying to attack Trump from a left-wing perspective, from a liberal perspective, from a perspective of, hey, you're wrong because you're not humanitarian, because you're hurting people, because you're corrupt, because you're a warmonger, because you're a fascist. His take is from the other side of like, no, you need to be worse. You need to be more evil. You need to be more of a warmonger. You need to be more gross. And so that's where, I largely give him a pass again because he's just now like coming into public life, and I think he feels optimistic in the moment that he can build bridges and de-radicalize people. But again, the level of knowledge you would need to even engage in this conversation and expose the game Nick is playing is far above and beyond what Hunter currently has.
Because Donald Trump hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump hasn't changed at all. Donald Trump has been Donald Trump since he came out of the womb of a woman that was an immigrant to this country. And so what I want to know, though, is that I don't know how we get past this idea that the biggest problem that you have that with your personal situation and how you extrapolate that to the situation of other white kids that are your age, that feel disenfranchised, that feel left out, that feel they don't have a shot at the American dream, is because of black and brown people, because of Mexicans, because of Venezuelans, because of Haitians, it's always other, Nick.
Yeah, he's doing the work of the oligarchs. He's doing the work of the Epstein class. Don't look up, look down. Look at people with less money and no power, and blame them, even though everybody with the power is the actual problem.
It seems to me, and I've listened to a lot of the stuff, it's always them. We need to build a wall. Where's the wall, Nick? He never built the wall. Why'd you vote for him in 2020? Why'd you vote for him in 2024?
I didn't vote for him in 2024.
Okay. My point being is that whenever you identify your problem as being something that is other, that you can point to, that's a minority, that is a group of people, that's the Jews, before, remember, all of us, You know, it was the Irish Catholics who were committing the crime, who weren't allowed into bars, who weren't.
He's actually low-key spitting here, bro. He's spitting. He's spitting. The concept of whiteness has evolved over the years. It's completely and utterly made up. Let's be clear about that. It's completely and utterly made up. And it's a social construction, and over the years, it's evolved. I mean, as he's sort of laying out here, there was a time where Irish Catholics, sorry, you're not considered white. Or Italian, sorry, you're not considered white. And the fact that that definition is so malleable and open to change proves how much bullshit it is, right? Like, I remember now there's white Hispanic and non-white Hispanic. I mean, I feel like when I was a kid, that wasn't a thing. Like, you were either Hispanic or not. There wasn't a white Hispanic and a non-white Hispanic. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, it's changed over the years. It's evolved over the years. I mean, there was a time, like Hunter's saying, where if you were Catholic, you were a minority. Like, people said when JFK ran for president, people were saying, seriously, in this country, which is majority Protestant, they were going, bro, he can't be president. He's going to take marching orders from the Pope. And that's like, you know, he's going to be listening to this fucking cult with all these freaks who have these crazy beliefs about God speaks through this one guy. We can't have him run this country. It's dangerous. This is a dangerous minority group. You got to keep them out of power. And then now when people talk about Catholics, it's almost like grandfathered under the Protestant umbrella in a way where, like, Protestants and Catholics look at each other like, oh, we're both Christian, so we're part of the same religion, even though it's a totally different branch and different ideology and sect. So he's spitting here. He's going, you know, if Nick Fuentes was around a generation prior, 2 generations prior, you wouldn't be ranting, you know, against the Jews or whatever other, or black people or brown people. You'd be doing like an anti-Catholic screed. And now he is a Catholic. And it's like, bro, you don't make the cut in your own ideology. You're like a gay, allegedly gay Mexican Catholic. Like, I mean, you fail by your own standards a couple times over.
Weren't allowed in too, because you know why? Because they were dirty, poor non-Europeans. They were Irish. Every time it's wrong. Every time history has proven that could be wrong in the United States of America.
So
every
true.
time. Inclusion has been our greatest strength. Diversity has been our greatest strength. And I hear you talk about this idea of white culture. What fucking white culture are you talking about, man? What
Shakespeare, Dante, Mozart. We're in Philadelphia, the founding fathers.
Yeah.
That's your white
culture. How about
culture.
the Count of Monte Cristo? Would you consider that part of our white culture?
Sure.
Okay, well, it was written by a black man in France in the 1700s.
In a milieu of European civilization.
So what?
So we get credit even when we didn't do it. Oh my
God!
God!
You're picking out one example. It really
I'm not
is.
just picking out one example.
It really is.
Nick.
Listen,
Nick. I'm not. I really am not.
Hey guys, I think we're reaching what's called a rock in a hard place.
That was well done. That was well done from Hunter there. And look, he meant well. He tried his best in multiple moments. I think he did sort of checkmate Nick. But again, I come back to the same thing. It's like, let's not sanitize. Let's not humanize this guy who is a massive piece of shit. And, you know, he's openly said, like, my goal is to make myself more palatable. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can go look at the shit he said. He called for Catholic Taliban rule in this country. He said he's flat out against women's rights. He's against them getting educated. He wants to ban birth control and ban contraceptives and ban women in the workforce and ban them from voting, and he wants to ban pornography and trans people and homosexuality. And I mean, he says, quote, democracy is wrong. Quote, give the death penalty to Jews, atheists, and witches. He says, quote, we want to go back to the Middle Ages. And my personal favorite, quote, dating women is gay, having sex with women is gay. But you get the point. I don't know if it was really worth it to even do this in the first place, but, you know, again, I think Hunter's new to this space, so he's not really aware of what makes sense and what doesn't make sense, who to engage with, who not to engage with, who's trolling and means it and who doesn't, who's should be outside of the bounds of the Overton window and who isn't. So I understand where he's coming from. He did a decent job, but I'll leave it up to you guys. You tell me what you thought of this. Certainly this back and forth right here, I think Hunter got the best of him.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
So Tim Dillon is keeping up his streak here of going after MAGA and basically explaining how they're idiots and they're dummies. And we're going to run through some clips here. I'm going to break it down for you, but also I'm going to give you some extra context because I listened to the whole podcast, and I regret to inform you that, you know, you're only seeing part of his commentary, and it's the best part. And when you listen to the whole thing, he's still a bit of a mess, if we're being honest. So let's start with this one here. He describes how, hey, wait a second, perhaps the idea of Trump taking on the deep state is bullshit. Maybe he is the deep state. All right, let's listen. Here we go.
And people get mad at me. What are you saying? There's no deep state? No dummy. But if the deep state can never be affected or impacted or changed, then why even elect this guy? Why did you all get excited and wear the dumb hats, dummies? Why did you care so much about this guy and his election if this deep state, if you were just going to blame everything on the deep state, then what the hell was the point? Why did you go to the rallies? Were you just trying to go to a concert? And that's really what it was. Did you just like the merch? Why did you care so much about this guy? Why isn't he investigating his own assassination attempt? Let's talk about the deep state for a minute, by the way. Why don't we know anything about the guy that assassinated him? Okay? Or tried to. Sorry, attempted. I'm not saying there's no deep. I'm not saying there's not some permanent government apparatus. I've talked about it a million times on the show. I get it. But for the people that ran on upending the deep state to then come in and blame things on the deep state, seems like you have to be an idiot for that to work.
Now, yet again, I hate to say it, but we told you so. This is exactly one of the points I made over and over, that he's not fighting the deep state. He is the deep state. And when a bunch of people were falling for the idea that he's anti-establishment and anti-corruption and he's anti-war, I laid out very clearly that in Trump's first term, he increased drone strikes over 400%. How is that anti-war? How is it anti-war when he increased the Pentagon budget every single year? This is his first term. So the reason I do this, guys, is because you can't say that we didn't tell you so. You can't act like, well, nobody knew. No, they did know, and you didn't listen. None of you listened. You all swatted it aside like we were wrong when we had all the evidence on our side. How could Trump be anti-war if he increased the Pentagon budget every year and he kept us in Iraq and Afghanistan? It was Biden who pulled us out of Afghanistan. Trump bombed Syria twice in his first term. He bombed Somalia in his first term. He killed Qasem Soleimani. He ripped up the Iranian nuclear deal. Okay, he hired every single neocon in Washington, including John Bolton, Mike Pompeo, Gina Haspel. He dropped a MOAB on Afghanistan. MOAB stands for Mother of All Bombs. It's like the biggest bomb short of nuclear weapons that we make. He dropped one of those, and he was still called fucking anti-war. Could you imagine a Democrat dropping a MOAB, and then people saying, oh yeah, they're anti-war. They're like, leading the charge against the wars. What a sick joke. Trump fucking pardoned Blackwater war criminals in his first term. He was openly talking about taking the oil from Syria, which is a massive war crime. They tried to coup Venezuela. It's a sick joke, the idea. You had an increase in civilian deaths in Afghanistan under Trump of 330%. There's a video of Trump when he was running in 2016 on Fox and Friends saying, we need to take out the families of the terrorists. That's what he said, kill the families on purpose. And people really told us, oh, he's anti-deep state, he's anti-war. No, he's fucking not. And really the funny thing is, Tim Dillon is ranting here. It's basically like he's ranting against himself. Bro, this was you 7.5 minutes ago. And now you're just mad that some in your audience haven't caught up to where you are now. But you didn't catch up to where the liberals and the leftists were during the election when you fucking should have.
Why were you excited for this guy to win? Why did anyone think it would be interesting for this guy to win if he was just going to do all the things that this deep state wants him to do? What is he doing that they don't like, by the way? Maybe some tariffs that'll just expire the minute he's out of office? He's in Iran. He kidnapped Maduro. Flock cameras are everywhere. The tech people are getting all the money. So who is this deep state again? Who are these people that are really upset and up in arms with him? Who are they? I don't know who they are. He seems to be. What would they want him to do that he's not doing? He seems to be pretty lockstep with all of these people. Surveillance technology is everywhere. The pace at which unregulated AI is going to grow and become a real problem is harrowing. We're about to commit troops to a war with a country and we'll probably lose. That's the other thing.
We're also protecting the Epstein pedophiles because Trump was Epstein's best friend.
Unless we put 1 million people in there and hold their government free. And then what'll winning look like? It'll just be tallies of dead people. It's going to be a nightmare. It won't feel like winning. It'll feel like losing. And it'll probably be actually losing too, because there's not much you can do in that country. But again, we're on the brink of that. We're on the brink of that. So again, I'm asking all the smart people, and I'm excluding the paid hack MAGA people that are getting paid by this. That's great. He unwound DEI. Ta-da. Great. I'm all for that.
Oh, God. Oh, you would say that, Tim, wouldn't you? You would say that. They're fucking like rewriting history and taking all the stuff about slavery out of the museums. And he goes, oh yeah, it's good because they're going after DEI. You mean like fundamentally lying about history and not telling the truth anymore to protect the feelings of right-wing racist? You mean that? Is that what you mean? And you like that? Here, he goes after people who are saying, oh, like Trump's being thwarted. Like Trump actually wants all the good stuff to happen, but he's being thwarted. He's being blocked. There's people around him who are telling him the wrong things. Here we go.
Just think of the symbolism of getting into the White House, and then of Elon Musk, who's the richest man in the world at this point. The first few months, you move him essentially like into the White House. It's this incredibly dysfunctional thing. He's getting in fights with people in the White House, some of them physical. He's getting in a fight with the president. He accuses the president of being in the Epstein file. And then the president, like, I don't know. It feels weird to still be jazzed about this. Depending on however jazzed you were about it, seems odd. It seems like a cope. It seems like you need to, QAnon ain't happening. It ain't happening. Nobody's getting marched off to Gitmo. It's time to wake up. It's time to turn the computer off and go for a walk.
I hate to correct him, but there are some people they want to send to Gitmo. They're called immigrants. They're called non-violent criminals who are immigrants. They're called people who, some are even here on green cards or visas or, you know, some legal work program or whatever the fuck. That's who they're sent. They're sending them to CCOT to get tortured and raped. You know, there are people being sent to Gitmo, but it's not, you know, the Epstein pedophiles. No, it's all the people who shouldn't be sent to Gitmo are going to be sent to Gitmo. The concentration camps are being built, and they're sending, you know, abuela and abuelos there. That's what's happening. So let's not say nobody's being sent to Gitmo. Let's not say nobody's being sent to fucking, you know, torture camps, because it's happening.
It ain't happening. Nobody's getting marched off to Gitmo. It's time to wake up. It's time to turn the computer off and go for a walk. I'm sorry. I know it's upsetting to you. Sorry, but it's just there's a reality here that people need to accept. I mean, in my belief, in my estimation. Now, they don't have to, and I can't compel them to. It's a great thing about America. You're allowed to believe whatever you want to believe. You're allowed to sit there and say, no, Trump has the best of intentions. He just keeps getting thwarted. That's the way they believe. He just keeps getting thwarted. Every time he tries to do something, somebody else there is, you know, like tricking him. He's getting tricked.
It's so crazy to listen to him say this stuff because, again, this is what every liberal and every leftist said every step of the way under Trump, going back to his first term in office. You know, we would say, like, no, he's the problem. Like, he's the problem. Yeah, it's true he's also surrounded by a bunch of fucking idiots and dingbats and warmongers and psychopaths and deregulators and every negative thing you can imagine, but he also sucks in his own respect, right? And even when it comes to the Iran war, like what some people will do is purely blame Netanyahu and Israel and act like Trump does not have any agency of his own. Like, yes, Israel was trying to convince the U.S. to go to war, but also Trump is a big boy. He could have said, go fuck yourself, we're not doing it. You know who did say that? Joe Biden. You know who did say that? Barack Obama. You know who else said that? George W. motherfucking Bush said that. Bill Clinton said that. Israel has tried to get every U.S. president to go to... Israel tried to get every U.S. president to go to war with Iran, and everyone until Trump said no. So he's a big boy. He can make his own mind up. But now it's like, again, if you want to know what Tim Dillon is going to be saying in a year and a half from now, tune into my show today. Because I'll say the shit now that he's going to say in a year and a half. When it's no longer, you know, edgy or controversial and you're not out on a limb if you say it. That's what's frustrating about this. It's like every single thing he said here could have been him ranting against himself from a year and a half ago. Because you believed all the shit that you're now ranting against, and now you're mad other people haven't caught up to you yet.
And there are people that'll believe that until they're dead. There's people that'll go to their grave believing that he was the one true great American patriot hero. The guy that hosted The Apprentice was the one guy that tried to save America, but he was thwarted. You know, and that's okay. They're allowed to do that. If it makes you feel better, something's got to make you feel better. It's either going to be the Red Robin burger skyscraper that they bring out to your table, or it's going to be the idea that Donald Trump was the last great hope of America, but he was thwarted. He was the only one who cared about us. So something's got to make you feel good. Something's got to make you feel good.
Now you hear that, and you might be thinking, oh shit, like, all right, he's spitting now. That's what's up. That's awesome. I listened to the whole episode. I regret to inform you he is not spitting. What did I tell you about Tim Dillon? I told you, worst case scenario, in his worst moments, he's just MAGA, right? Gave a hot stone massage to J.D. Vance, etc. But in his best moments, what he does is he retreats to enlightened centrism, both sides suck. It's like a Gen X nihilism and enlightened centrism, whereas both sides suck, I'm above it all, everybody's corrupt, everybody's a warmonger, everything's horrible, and like, you know, both sides are the problem, and that's the uncomfortable truth that you guys need to accept. A complete and utter fucking horseshit. In his little bit on his show, he goes after DSA. And he says, oh, you know, DSA's problem is that they're too much fuck whitey or kill whitey. There's a little bit too much fuck whitey, kill whitey for me. I don't like that. It's like, what the fuck are you babbling about, son? What the fuck are you babbling about? DSA's not fuck whitey or kill. You made that up. He's doing like a right-wing caricature of what DSA is. Because again, he can't just hold his big fat L from riding Trump's nuts during the election. So he's got to try to save face to go, oh yeah, I got issues with the Republicans, but no, the Democrats aren't better. Like, oh, that's crazy. DSA is crazy. So he does a whole bit where he talks about how Graham Plattner is being replaced, and he pretends like it's this trans candidate who's replacing Graham Plattner. Well, first of all, it's not, okay? That's point number one. Point number two is, he keeps saying that this trans candidate is in DSA. That candidate is not in DSA at all. It's completely and utterly made up. So he does the whole, yeah, MAGA's bad, MAGA are warmongers, MAGA are idiots, they're the problem. But, you know, the DSA and the left, they're so anti-white, and they're so crazy that all they care about is trans people. All they talk about is trans people. Like, you know, that's a problem on their side. So you got extremes on both sides. Fucking spare me, bro. Holy shit. Oh, my days. Are we really doing this? By the way, take a look at who's actually replacing Graham Plattner. It's a guy named Troy Jackson. It's a white man, a middle-aged or even older white man, who is in DSA. So what happened to fuck whitey? What happened to kill whitey? Oh, it turns out that was completely and utterly made up. And it also turns out it was made up that this trans candidate was in DSA at all. But he's trying so hard. He can't just go after the right and leave it there. No, he feels like I got to do something to like maintain my right-leaning audience. And so I'll also, oh yeah, the DSA, they're crazy. They're all about fuck whitey. They're too far left. They're out there, bro. Meanwhile, no, you idiots. What DSA is representing is what people actually want issue for issue in this country. You want to have universal health care? That's motherfucking DSA. Medicare for all is motherfucking DSA. You want to raise the minimum wage to a living wage? That's motherfucking DSA. That's what that is. You want child care? That's DSA. That's DSA. You want to end the wars? That's actually DSA. And they actually mean it, unlike Trump, who's a fucking liar and was lying from day motherfucking one. Okay? So, spare me. It's like he's got to find a way to make it, oh, both sides suck, but enlightened centrism, I'm above it all. He's got to find a way to do it, but he's wrong. He's just fucking wrong. He's wrong. One side is better than the other side. There's no comparison between fucking DSA and MAGA. There's no massive blind spot among DSA like there is among all of motherfucking MAGA. So again, I regret to inform you, while these clips, he makes sense in these clips, if you listen to the whole podcast, there's a hefty dose of like, oh yeah, but you know the lefties, they're fucking crazy. And it's just, I'm so over it. I'm so fucking over it. It's a child's idea of intelligent political discourse. To the, oh, both sides, bro. Have you thought both sides are bad, bro? Have you considered that, bro? It's like, oh yeah, oh, what a genius. You're the first one to come up with that fucking groundbreaking theory. Both sides are bad. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Anyway, there you have it.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
So Fox News is not sending their best, y'all. They are not sending their best. They are not even close to sending their best. There's this guy, Sid Rosenberg, who's a psychotic Zionist who went on Fox and Friends, and boy, is this dark. So I'm going to show you in a second what he said about Zohran Mamdani, which is incredibly disturbing. But also, I'm going to show you what he says here about Iran. Now, keep in mind, our obese, war criminal, pedophile, rapist, con man president, this is the shit that he listens to. This is who he takes seriously. Okay, so this matters. What you're listening to here, it matters. Let's see what he has to say about Iran.
It is inevitable that President Trump is going to have to do what he doesn't want to do, which is go in there with this massive all-out attack. There's no other way to stop this. There's no other way to win this war. So, again, he's trying to do the best he can. He's a very nice man. I love President Trump. He doesn't want people to die. He really doesn't. Okay, he's a nice man. But there's no other way to end this. Once you start this, Midnight Hammer was great. Epic Fury was great. Once you start this, there needs to be a finish. And the only finish is complete surrender by the Iranians. I hate to say it, but complete annihilation.
Complete annihilation. It doesn't sound like you hate to say it, actually. It sounds like you love to say it. It sounds like you're really getting off to mentioning that. Look at that smile. Look at that little grin you got on your face. Huh? Seems like you like it a lot, actually. Like you fucking can't wait to go, annihilation, annihilate them, total surrender, annihilation. How quick do Zionists take their mask off and expose themselves as the Nazis they are when you give them free reign? Go ahead, make whatever point you want to make. It always boils down, must kill them all, total annihilation. Insane thing to say, especially when we know we already killed 160 or 170 little schoolgirls at an elementary school we bombed. Remember that? We already bombed a children's hospital. That happened the other day. Remember that? We've bombed power plants. We've bombed roads, bridges, all civilian infrastructure. 13 or 14 days straight of relentless carpet bombing of civilian targets. And this guy, total annihilation, yes. I don't think this is even subtle. He's basically saying you should nuke them. That's what he's saying. This is who Trump is getting advice from. These are the channels that he watches where he goes, I like these people. They make sense. They're on my team. How insane is this?
We talked last time about this. And by the way, I agree. I love President Trump. I love his heart, I think, is really for peace. And he's always, I love that even now, this past week, he's still talking about peace.
This is so insane. The biggest fucking warmonger in this country's history. Oh, he loves peace. He's great. The peace is awesome. And he's all for peace and everything. But, at some point, you really got to go ahead and press the big red button. At some point.
And wanting to find and leaving that door open for negotiations. You say the only end is annihilation. Now, what if winning this war requires boots on the ground? I asked you that last time. That's not very popular with the American people. What is your response to that?
It's not popular with me either. Look, I'm not a parent of an Army person, a Marine person, so I'm very sensitive to that, trust me. But look, we have the Army, we have the Marines for a reason. They're not there to shake your hand at the airport, Rachel, okay? They're there for a reason.
By the way, Trump literally used them at the airport when we had the government shutdown and TSA wasn't getting paid. He literally used them for that.
Jack, we don't have a draft in this country. So these courageous men and women know exactly what they're signing up for.
Oh, my
God. This is war. We don't want to see...
He's literally like, sacrifice them. Sacrifice them for Israel. Sacrifice them for, they can't even explain why we're in this war, why it makes sense. But go die. Why don't you go die?
Anybody die. But this is war. A war that started 47 years ago that they started. So...
Oh, they're still doing the 47-year thing. Oh, my days. Oh, my word. Oh, no. Oh, no. The weakest arguments I've ever heard in my life. The fucking Republican hive mind needs to be studied. These are all little lemming cuck-ass bitches. They vomit out some preposterous argument. We've been at war for 47 years with Iran. And all of them just repeat it over and over.
I know that the moral ground is to say, I don't want our kids to die. I feel the same way.
But
we got to win.
He hit him with the butt. But we got to win, so your kids got to die. What do you want me to tell you? Also, I love we've been at war with them for 47 years. You go back and you look at the timeline of events, and actually the takeaway is we've been at war with them. We illegally overthrew their democratically elected government. We overthrew Mohammad Mossadegh, put into place the Shah. The Shah was our puppet dictator, and then that led to the Islamic Revolution because the Shah was a brutal dictator. And so, we stole your oil, we meddled in your country, we overthrew your government, and it turns out you didn't like us and you wanted sovereignty? Fuck your sovereignty. And we act like that's egregious in the sense that they wronged us. Like, how do you... Oh, I can't, bro. I can't. He literally said, I don't want your kid to die, but... Oh, no, this is insane. They're so dangerous. Fox News is so fucking dangerous. It is a brainwashing factory. They are rotting boomers' minds across this country and making them war-horny piglets. It's so gross.
So, yes, I know that the moral ground is to say, I don't want our kids to die. I feel the same way.
I don't want your kids to die. I feel the same way. But...
Can win, maybe without putting boots on the ground. Maybe we can, I don't know. I'm not Jack Keane. I don't have that type of information. If we can do that, great. But if at some point it requires putting some boots on the ground to win this war, that's why they signed up. To fight for this country, to fight for President Trump, and to rid the world of evil animals like the Iranian regime.
The evil animal is if you look in the mirror, you disgusting fuck. You're the evil animal.
Can I just ask, what does victory look like to you? Are you serious? You really want just until they're annihilated and there's a regime change? Is that final for you?
That's it. I mean, look, I want to get the dust. I want to open the strait. All that's important. But if you leave these animals in power, you are destined. Look, what is the definition of insanity? Do the same thing over and over and again, expect different results.
By the way, that argument cuts 100% against his point because we've tried these regime changes over and over and over and over. They failed every time. Iraq is a fucking mess. We overthrew Saddam and it led to the rise of Al-Qaeda and the rise of ISIS. It broke the region completely. Syria has been an utter catastrophe and disaster. Now we put a literal Al-Qaeda guy in to run the country and pretended like that's a victory, like that's a win. Libya's become a failed state with open slave markets. and he does the fucking old definition of insanity and doesn't realize that cuts against your argument, you fucking idiot.
If you leave the IRGC in power, we're going to have the same issues in 5 years, in 10 years when the great President Trump, is gone. So we have no choice at this point but to go in there. And yes, regime change, I know it's two dirty words. That's part of winning the war ultimately. Yeah.
By the way, the Zionists have completely and utterly lost control. And this is why Israel, we're gonna do a segment on this tomorrow. The extent to which the American people have now swung against Israel is almost immeasurable. It is off the charts how much Americans now hate Israel compared to they had a positive view of Israel not that long ago. It's because of guys like this. It's because he's a Zionist. At the end of the day, all he cares about is Israel. He wants them to control the entire Middle East. He wants a greater Israel. He wants no regional pushback to Israel. And that's why it's like, kill all of Israel's enemies for them. That's what this all comes down to. He might lie and whine and bitch and moan and try to pretend and deflect and obfuscate and act like that's not the case. It is the case. This all comes down to, we must protect my beloved Israel, and the U.S. needs to do the dirty work. And if your kid has to die so he can have an expanded ethno-state in the region, well, sucks for you. So, and this is why people hate Israel now, because representatives like him, he's a fucking massive Zionist, representatives like him, he actually represents the mainstream mindset, and you can see it's depraved in Israel. But we're not done yet, because we also have this. So now he's going to talk about Zohran Mamdani, and this, I mean, you want to talk about shitting the bed and jumping the shark. If it wasn't bad enough to imply that millions of people should be nuked in Iran, now he talks about Zohran.
People are very nice people, but trying to talk to Mayor Mamdani is like trying to talk to the IRGC, okay? This guy is a terrorist.
I want to just point out real quick how ironic it is that in this very segment, he calls for terrorism. He calls for massive attacks against Iran. He calls for finishing the job and doing regime change. A country that didn't attack us and was no threat to us whatsoever, and he wants to illegally overthrow their government, and he's calling Zohran a terrorist. Presumably because Zohran opposes this kind of terrorism. So now it's terrorism to oppose terrorism. Orwell is rolling over in his grave right now. It is terrorism to oppose terrorism. He is advocating for terrorism in this segment while pointing his finger at Zohran and saying he's a terrorist. Out of this world, disgusting. Jesus Christ.
Terrorist. That's the bottom line. I'll say it. You don't want to say it, I'll say it. He's a terrorist. He's a jihadist. He hates the Jewish people. He hates America. He hates the Italian people. He hates the Irish people. He hates the German people. Unless you're Muslim.
It is astonishing to me that anybody could be this full of shit. That anybody could talk out of their ass this much. It is genuinely astonishing to me that somebody can make things up so confidently, so assertively. Let me ask you this. If he hates all of the people that you said he hates, why is it he's governing like he loves them? Why is it crime went down on his watch? Why is it he cracked down on shitty landlords, which helps out every group of people you just fucking mentioned? Why is it he's doing amazing things like getting universal childcare and fucking freezing the rent and filling potholes and shit? It seems like he loves the city. And it seems like he loves the people of the city. It sounds like you are a depraved psychopath who's so desperate to do an own of Zohran that you're coming up with the lowest of the low sorts of gutter attacks I've ever seen in my life.
Mayor Mamdani has no use for you. He is a horrible person and maybe has perpetrated the worst American and Jewish hate in the history of this country. Those two people stand the other day in the airport side of New York City. That blood is on his hands.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my days. Oh my days. Oh my days. Oh my days. Again, in this same segment, he calls for like mass murdering innocent Iranians, and he has the nerve to say blood is on Zohran's hands. How could blood be on Zohran's hands when he's against all the illegal wars and he's delivering for the people of New York City? You tell me.
That blood is on your hands, Mayor Mamdani. We got to find a way to get this guy out of here. Maybe Dr. Naomi Wolf is right. Maybe that election wasn't what it looked like on paper. Maybe he really didn't win. But either way, this guy is the...
Now we're doing election denial on Zohran? Oh, my days. Not only did Zohran win, he won by a higher margin than anybody thought he would win by. He overperformed colossally. And that can't be real. Oh, really? Well, the fucking dynamism of Andrew Cuomo was supposed to sweep people off their feet? Give me a fucking break. The sex pest corrupt weirdo?
Worst thing to happen to New York politics, maybe in the history of our state. He's a lowlife.
I mean, I think you may be a bit over your skis in calling him.
When even Fox News is going, you know what, man? I mean, really, you gotta call him a terrorist? That seems like it's a little much, dog. I mean, look, we are bordering on criminal defamation. You understand what I'm saying? Like this is actual... We have the most lenient free speech laws in the world, but even this, you look at it and you go, you can make an argument in court that this crosses a line, bro.
A bit over your skis and labeling him a terrorist, and you're probably going to get flagged for that.
He said why? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because he hasn't murdered anybody for political reasons. Maybe because he's anti-war. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't in any way, shape, or form fit the definition of terrorism. You, sir, are way closer to the definition of a terrorist than he is. You literally just advocated for carpet bombing innocent people in Iran.
Because New Yorkers elected this guy. They knew everything about him before. Like, this is predictable. You talk about predictability. This is a predictable.
Let me ask you this: the Hamas guys that are in Qatar right now, they've never put on an explosive vest. They've never shot anybody. Would you consider those guys terrorists? Because
I'm done, bro. I'm done. Presumably, this idiot would act like Benjamin Netanyahu is a hero. He's a hero. So is Ben-Gvir. So is Smotrich. So is the Likud party. So is the Israeli government. So the people that carpet bomb babies, shoot women in the face, steal food from innocent people who are starving to death, shoot aid workers, destroy UN buildings, destroy schools and hospitals. They're the heroes. They're the heroes as far as I'm concerned. The people who oppose that are the terrorists.
I would. Okay, so his ideologies are in line with the terrorists.
Again, I can't. You want to talk about your ideology being in line with terrorists? It was 7 seconds ago you were implying that Iran should be nuked. Again, a country that didn't attack us, wasn't a threat to us in any way, shape, or form, or Israel for that matter. You're implying they should be nuked, but others are terrorists? I can't, bro. The way that these people have absolutely positively mangled logic and reason is the grossest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Mahmoud Khalil is a campus terrorist. You don't have to kill somebody to be a terrorist.
All he did was protest the genocide, and he's a campus terrorist? So if you oppose terrorism and genocide, you are the terrorist and the genocidal person. Up is down, left is right, black is white, yada yada. You know the whole spiel. I mean, this is insane.
You have to share the ideology. That's what this guy is. He's no better than the person who actually goes and shoots somebody because he respects that person. He likes that person. That makes him one of them.
It's people like this that have really taken away my faith in humanity. To be so arrogantly and brazenly and confidently wrong about every fucking word out of your mouth. To me, that's like, oh, is there hope? I'm not sure there is. There's no reasoning with these people. There's no reasoning with them. Save your breath. They are the enemy. People like this must be defeated. Period. Full stop. That's it. That's it. They're never gonna be honest. They're never gonna tell the truth. They're never gonna stop being bloodthirsty psychopaths. You can, if President ZOHRAN, assuming he could be president in this alternate universe, if he went in there and delivered Medicare for all, free college, living wage, ending the wars, ended the corruption, taxed the wealthy, gave people a shot at a decent life, pulled fucking 80% approval rating, even in that moment, that guy would still go out there and say these psychotic things. There's no reaching these people. You need to understand that. Some people are a lost fucking cause. All right, y'all, that's the show, man. I love y'all very much. You guys know the deal. Everybody subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon. That helps out big time and costs you nothing. Support the show on Patreon. Link below. Remember, this is real independent media. And, of course, sign up for Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. And I'll see you guys later, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Not Crystal Kyle and Friends. Corrin's World. Come hang out with us on the Corrin's World YouTube channel. I'll see y'all there. Peace.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.